software, and it only lets me go 6 hours at a time, and then I got to start over. Are we back? I should be back. Animals have personalities. I'd like a small dog if it was awesome. Just haven't met one yet. P.S. You're behind 10 minutes, says Goofy. We're back. Okay, good. Okay, good. All right, let's go to our next clip. Because I got a lot of news for you guys today. I definitely do. We do this every night. And also, I have a channel called Chase and Cuffs where we do police chases and court videos. So you guys might like that too. All right, breaking news. Former Prince Andrew arrested by UK police on misconduct while in public office in relation to Jeffrey Epstein. Oh, should be good. Let's watch this.
Prince Andrew, he was in the Navy. He was 250 days in the sea.
Just a little bit goofy.
Because he lied Epstein. And then I did a big thing in the Daily Mail saying that I believed Andrew. And then I found out he was lying. I was so pissed. No, that he was f***ing underage girls. That's not cool.
John Bryan has been a close confidant to the British royal family for a long time. He worked for Queen Elizabeth II, was, quote, best friends with Princess Diana, and had a long-term intimate relationship with the Duchess of York, Sarah Ferguson. According to Bryan, he practically raised Sarah Ferguson's children, the princesses Beatrice and Eugene. And Bryan said that he maintained a friendship with Ferguson's husband, the Duke
I went to go
York,
visit Goofy
Prince
one time.
Andrew.
Tell me like your story.
And Donnie chased her cat up the tree.
What?
Like, I've been so famous when I was on the front page of every newspaper in the planet because I was working with the Queen of England.
Okay.
You know, Queen Elizabeth. I was working with all the families. Princess Diana was one of my best friends.
All right, speaking of Princess Diana, conspiracy theorist, who's with me? Was she murdered because she knew too much? I think she was. I think she definitely was. What do you guys think?
And I met the Duchess of York.
Okay.
That's Prince Andrew's wife. They were separated. And Sarah and I sort of fell in love. And we lived together.
Oh, wow.
For like 7 years. In my
Interesting.
house.
Wait a minute, and he didn't get punished for this? Wouldn't you think that if this is true, he would have been punished somehow?
Those were my children. Those were my kids. I raised those kids.
Do you guys think this guy's just drunk and trying to look good in front of this woman? I think that's maybe part of what it is.
Day to day, raised. I was father to those kids.
Prince Andrew's connection to Jeffrey Epstein emerged in 2010, when photos showed them walking together in New York's Central Park. Epstein had already been convicted in 2008 of procuring a 14-year-old girl for prostitution. In 2014, a woman named Virginia Giuffre alleged in a Florida court filing that Jeffrey Epstein paid her to have sex with Prince Andrew when she was 17, a minor. On April 25th, a few weeks ago, Giuffre died by, quote, suicide. Prince Andrew denied Giuffre's sex abuse allegations in a now infamous 2019 BBC
Don't forget
interview.
that like,
She said she had sex with him 3 times.
Thumbs up button, I'd appreciate it, y'all.
On his private island in a group
Repost.
of 7 or 8 other girls.
No.
No to all of it.
All of it. Absolutely no
Liar.
to all of it.
The interview was a public relations disaster for the royal family and prompted the Queen to strip Prince Andrew of his royal duties. In the aftermath of that interview, the prince sought advice from a longtime royal family confidant, John Bryan.
Wait, so you were not friends with her?
Oh, very good. Oh, no, we were very civilized. We'd go have dinner at his house. He'd have dinner at my house to see his kids. So then we go on a holiday in the south of France. And I get a big property, like 10 acres, right near Saint-Tropez, right? You know, nobody.
I don't like this guy.
I'm on the biggest property, beautiful house. And I rent it so that we have privacy. Because the paparazzi are everywhere. There's hundreds
Okay.
of paparazzi, not 10, not 20,
Okay.
hundreds. I know.
And this is already when Prince Andrew
Yes, Prince Andrew.
doing his own thing.
Yeah, he's on the fucking. He was in the Navy. He was 250 days at sea. He never saw his kids.
2 weeks after Prince Andrew's BBC interview, John Bryan was brought to the Royal Lodge, where Prince Andrew lives, to offer crisis management advice. According to The Telegraph, the meeting was conducted discreetly. At the royal residence, Bryan observed that Prince Andrew was visibly distressed and struggling to focus, reportedly unable to concentrate for more than 40 minutes at a time due to the strain he was under. As reported in the Daily Mail, John Bryan constructed a 5-page document emphasizing that Prince Andrew should publicly show empathy for Epstein's victims. Back in November 2022, Bryan publicly stated that he believed Prince Andrew was innocent of the claims made against him related to the Jeffrey Epstein sex trafficking scheme. Now, in our exclusive hidden camera undercover footage, John Bryan reveals for the first time that Prince Andrew did in fact have sex with underage girls.
Disgusting.
Involved with other girls. I was so pissed about that. I was really pissed. I was really pissed because he lied to me about it.
Lied about
Epstein. Yeah. No, I knew he saw him, but he lied to me that he was such a close friend. I was so pissed. And then I did a big thing in the Daily Mail saying that I believed Andrew, and then I found out he was lying. I was so pissed. No, that he was f***ing underage.
So real quick, so guys, like I said, February 28th, I am going to Disneyland because it's MAGA Day and it's also Gay Day at the same time. So they told us all to wear red MAGA hats, but seeing it's Gay Day, don't you think it would be better if I wore my Kill Your Local Pedophile hat? Although I may get kicked out of Disneyland for that hat. Do you think they'd kick me out of Disneyland for wearing that hat? I don't know. I don't know. What do you guys think? Will they kick me out of Disneyland if I wear my favorite hat? I think they might, huh?
Now, our newsroom has some concerns about where this investigation is headed and who may be implicated. But our only motivation in doing these stories is the public's right to know. And if this report and our subsequent reports shine a light into darkness and expose evil, then we are willing to take the risks. At the end of the day, child victims of Jeffrey Epstein need
I
to
look
be
pretty
protected,
good in that hat, don't I?
and the people involved need to be held accountable by law enforcement immediately. Without accountability, our notion of freedom
Gavin says yes.
is just an illusion. We're going to be breaking our next
Ronnie says
stories
yes.
exclusively at O'Keefe.
Okay, how do I say your name? Is it Llewellyn or L. Welton? Which is it? I like to say people's names right. All right, let's see what Eric Daughtry has for today. By the way, we have I have a lot of stuff from today. Breaking news: Post Falls, Idaho City Council just voted to end recognition of Juneteenth and restore Columbus Day. My own view is that Juneteenth is something nobody's ever heard of until only recently and was pushed for political reasons. I'm not in favor of having it. Does anybody here know what Juneteenth is? So Juneteenth is that the day? It has something to do with black people, and I'm not sure. Is it the day that they were first freed, or it's something about them becoming free, right?
Luca?
Aye.
LW is
Malloy?
cool. Okay.
Nay, again, not against Columbus Day. Just would like to see them both recognized.
Stigleader?
Aye.
Mosby?
Aye.
Ziegler?
Nay.
Motion passes. Thank you.
A federal holiday meant to celebrate the end of slavery across America will no longer be recognized here in Post Falls, Idaho.
My own view is that Juneteenth is something that nobody had heard of until 5 years ago and was pushed for political purposes. And so I'm not in favor of having that in.
Mayor
I
Randy
don't wear
Westland
dresses.
called for the change and for the reinstatement of Columbus Day throughout the city.
Which I believe is a more appropriate holiday honoring our American heritage.
However, this
Right.
viewpoint was not shared unanimously. Council members Joe Malloy and Nathan Ziegler said while they understand wanting to celebrate Columbus Day, they also believe Juneteenth is just as important because it was a pivotal moment with ending slavery across the country.
So I don't know if you would consider doing an every other year type of thing, but I think both are very relevant to our history.
Just because we didn't know about or was more or was made less relevant doesn't make it relevant to today.
Yeah,
Both
Donnie
Malloy and
likes
Ziegler
humping
pushed for both
Goofy
holidays
for
to be
Jesus'
recognized,
husband's leg.
saying they are not mutually exclusive. Mayor Westland denied that request, with Councilmember Mark Luke.
What do you guys think? Should Juneteenth be an actual holiday? Now, if I used to be a plumber, right? I traveled the country building high-rise hotels, and then I wanted to start my own company, and so my boss was like, "You got to learn service work," and so I quit, and I was gonna go into service work, but first I joined the San Francisco Plumbing Union, and then I did some service work, and then I went right back to the San Francisco Plumbing Union, and I remember everybody said, "Hey, we're all going to our hall," so we all went down to the hall. And everybody was pissed because our plumbing union, they didn't celebrate President's Day anymore. No, they didn't celebrate Columbus Day anymore, but they celebrated Martin Luther King Day. So you didn't get off President's Day. It wasn't a holiday, but Martin Luther King Day was. And my plumbing union was so pissed off about that. They made a big old huge, stink about it. It doesn't say it's because having an entire month just isn't good enough. I know, right? How is it that we become a country that black people can get a whole month? Black people can have their own colleges. Black people can have the NAACP. Black people can have black this, black that, right? But if I wanted to start a AACP, right? We're racist. We can't have a club that's only white people because it's racist. They can have a club that's only black people and that's not racist. How is that not racist? It just doesn't make sense to me. Why do we have why do we have to do it? Like what city was it? There's a city, I think is it in Minnesota that are now, or no, a city in Illinois is now paying black people reparations for being slaves. San Francisco wants to pay so many million of dollars to black people because they were slaves. And California never had slaves, number one. And number two, anybody that's been a slave is no longer alive. And why is it only black people? More white people have been slaves than black people ever. White people have been slaves for a lot longer than black people. It's all about history, and that's why liberals don't want us to remember history.
Adding, there are other days to celebrate civil rights, like Martin Luther King Jr. Day.
It's apples and oranges. Why can't everyone be included in the celebration?
James McDay, the founder of the Kootenai County branch of the NAACP, adds this decision does not only affect people today, but generations to come in North Idaho.
Without the representation, we are perpetuating a negative.
Juneteenth commemorates the 1865
this
announcement.
is just bullshit. And I was raised by my mom and dad. My dad died when I was 6 from Agent Orange exposure. I'm disabled because of his exposure to Agent Orange in Vietnam. But my mom always taught me America first. My mom is from Holland. My mom, I am a first generation on my mother's side American citizen. So I don't know if I can claim full first generation because my dad was not first generation. But anyways, whenever my family would come visit us from Holland, even in our own house, my mom refused to talk to him in Dutch. She said, "You're in America. You're going to speak English." We were at Disneyland when I was a kid, and we got on this ride, and they said that the rules in Japanese, then they said it in Mexican, in Spanish, and then in English. My mom jumps up and stands up on this fucking ride so we can't go. I'm like 5 years old. All I want to do is go on the ride. And my mom is like, "I want to talk to a manager now." Like, "Ma'am, what's wrong?" She's like, "I know you got to say all these other languages, but we're in America. You should say the American language first." That's how my mom was. When she retired up here to Bass Lake in Yosemite, she worked at a casino, right? She worked at the bingo hall. She got fired because she refused to help people who wouldn't talk to her in English. And I saw her one time. She's like, "How many packs would you like?" Because she worked at bingo hall. And this guy's like, "Dos." And my mom's like, "What?" And the guy's like, "Dos." And my mom's like, "I know you know how to speak English. Tell me in English or else I'm not giving it to you." And the guy's like, "Two, please." And my mom's like, "How fucking hard was that? You're in America. Speak English." And she got fired for that from the casino, right? That's how my mom raised me. When I went to Holland to visit my family in Holland with my mom, I had to learn Dutch to speak to people in Dutch over there. And in fact, it was so bad that my mom refused to teach me Dutch. She only taught me enough when we went to visit to talk with my aunts and uncles, but they mostly spoke English anyways. And I said, "Mom, why don't you teach me, Dutch?" And she's like, "'Cause you're an American. I don't want you having trouble in school because you're trying to figure out how to speak two different languages at the same time." And I never understood it. And then I started dating this girl, and she became my fiance. And her parents were from Mexico. And sometimes I asked her one day, I'm like, "How come you say sentences half in English and half in Spanish?" And what she explained to me was this. She's like, "Well, at home I speak in Spanish, but at school I spoke English. So I never learned all of the language." And it was at that point that I was like, "You know what, Mom? Thank you for teaching me English only." And that's why I thrived in American schools. Because my mom loved the American dream. She came here. She married my dad, who was a 21-year veteran of the United States Air Force. Because my mom was American proud. So I got to thank my mom for teaching me the values of that. Unfortunately, she passed away of cancer, just like my fiance did, about 10 years ago now. All right, President Trump today, he had his World Peace, his peace group event today. And let's see what President Trump is making fun of today.
Important. I believe it's the most consequential board, certainly in terms of power and in terms of prestige.
It is American history, Goofy.
Anything close, because these are the greatest world leaders. Almost everybody's accepted, and the ones that haven't will be. Some are playing a little cute. It doesn't work. You can't play cute with me. But they're playing a little bit, but they're all joining. Everybody.
The Board of Peace. Thank you. Thank you. That's what it. It says it right here. I'm an idiot.
A few that we really don't want because they're trouble. Take care of them. But this is the most prestigious board ever put together.
Okay, so real quick, one last story about my mom. So when my dad retired from the Air Force, he retired in 81. And so this was probably like 83. My mom worked at a hotel in Solvang, California, because we were at Vandenberg Air Force Base and actually in the town called Lompoc, California. That's where I grew up. And President Reagan, his Secret Service team, when they weren't working, stayed at the hotel that my mom worked at. I think she was the front desk clerk or something like that. And in Holland, the wives cooked dinner every night. And so at our house, every single night, my mom cooked dinner. It was normally steak and potatoes or some kind of beef and potatoes, right? So she told these Secret Service officers that, hey, on your days off, you're going to come to our house, which is about a 30-minute drive. She's like, and I'm going to cook you a home-cooked meal. And so every single night, we had a different group of Secret Service officers eating dinner at our house, at our dinner table with us. And, one of the guys was like, why do you do this, ma'am? You don't have to do this. And my mom said, you protect the greatest president that the United States has ever had at the time, Ronald Reagan. And so I'm going to make sure that you have a home-cooked meal every single night, so that way you're strong enough to take care of our president. Because of this, my mom got invited by the Secret Service to go meet President Ronald Reagan and Nancy Reagan at their ranch. So my mom got to meet President Reagan, and he appreciated how much my mom did to cook dinner every single night for the Secret Service. So that's my mom. That was my mom. Anyways, yeah, no lie, Sharon, no lie. He gave my mom a presidential brooch, and that's all my sister ever talks about. When my stepdad passes, you know, he keeps saying, "Well, what do you guys want?" And my sister said, "I just want that Ronald Reagan brooch. That's all I want. I want the Ronald Reagan brooch." So my sister's gonna get to keep that. All right, Maryland Montgomery County school bus driver calls ICE agent an asshole during morning operations. Fucking liberal bus drivers. Oh, it's a liberal right lady. Who would have thunk it? Who would have thunk it? Who would have thunk it? Liberal white lady. Get a picture of it? Yeah, you know, my stepdad doesn't even know where it is, so when my sister finds it, I will definitely get a picture of it. So Justin, President Trump roast AOC, which is not hard to do.
Talent. He was a great student. They went to one school. He graduated. You know, most people, if you watch some of the people that were at the event in Munich, they didn't graduate quickly from college. They had everything they could do. There was one young, attractive woman. She was unable to answer questions. And she didn't do so well like JD did in college. JD graduated in a 4.5-year college in 2 years. And then he went to Yale and he graduated.
Peace is a lot cheaper
at the
than
top
war.
of his class. Went to the military grade, but when he went...
And real quick, I don't know enough about this Board of Peace, but just listen to the title. It's a Board of Peace. And I forget what country said Kyrgyzstan, whatever, one of these stands, they're kicking in $7 billion. And so the United States is going to kick in $10 billion. But think about this, like Sharon says, it's cheaper. It's much cheaper for peace than it is to fight in war. Right? Much cheaper. Much cheaper. So he's putting this Board of Peace together, and so it's basically NATO, except the United States is not paying for all the military. Does that make sense? That's the way I see it as. This is our NATO, but we're not paying for all of it. Let's see. Let me go to my old channel. I've been kicked off of YouTube. I got a new channel now, but my Eddie Block's Films channel, they still play my videos, right? You can still play my videos on Eddie Block Films on YouTube, but I don't get paid for it anymore. I can't even log in. So they're screwing me over there at fucking YouTube. So fuck you, YouTube. But anyways, military. I made this video a long time ago. Did anybody ever watch that show called Major Dad? Major Dad was a show I used to watch when I was younger. But so I put on here, best explanation of why we need the best military. I don't know if I got to turn the volume up or not. We'll see. Oh, wait, hold on. Sorry. It's muted. There we go. Let me see.
The size of your combat training school is tripled. Is there something
Sorry about the audio. It's bad audio, but...
coming up we don't know about? Like war?
Ms. Cooper, we are here to prevent war. That's the whole point of our peace offensive.
Peace offensive. Isn't that a contradiction in terms?
Get up.
What? People know I'm here.
Okay. Now, come at me.
No thanks.
Why not?
Nobody says, come at me unless they're going to pull something.
Now, how do you know that?
You're a Marine, you're trained to pull something. And when you do, I'm afraid I'll pull something.
So, because I'm trained, you won't attack.
Mm-hmm. Peace offensive?
So I'm sorry, the audio sounds kind of bad. So if you didn't understand what just happened, he's like, and she's like, well, why are you guys training so much? And he said, it's part of our peace offensive. And she says, isn't that contradictory? And he's like, well, okay, stand up. And he says, attack me. And she says, no. He says, why not? And she says, well, you're a Marine. You're trained to kill people. That's what they mean by a peace offensive. We train our military so people will be afraid to attack us, and they won't attack us. Good night, Gavin. Good night, buddy. How's your fish doing, by the way? How's your little fishies doing? Anyway, so back to this.
To Yale, there was one person that was marginally ahead of him, so he married her. Can you believe it? He married the person that was ahead. I don't know. I always like to say JD was first and Usha was second, because I get a little uncomfortable when I say the. But he's been incredible. He's a brilliant guy and a great guy, and he's been my friend. All of our people. We have a fantastic group of people, our cabinet members, everybody, many of them here.
All right. All right, what do you think? J.D. Vance or Marco Rubio for the next president? What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Okay, so it happened as I predicted. Resistance lawyer Eric Siebert, who sabotaged the prosecutions of James Comey and Letitia James, has now been rewarded with a partner position at an elite international law firm. This is how they bribe people, folks. This is what they do to bribe people. What they do is this. They say, hey, you know, you do this for us, and later on we'll help you out by giving them. Look, he just got a really good job that he probably doesn't deserve. Ooh, Sharon's not crazy about either. Okay, Sharon, if you're not crazy about JD and or I just said his name. Sorry, I got a bad brain. Then who are you going for? Who are you going for? Oh, thank you, Goofy. I love my Goofies. Who are you going for then? Sharon? Inquiring minds want to know. Oh, by the way, the U.S. women's hockey team took the gold today, beating Canada, if you didn't know. So, and you're going for Marco Rubio, yeah. That's who I said, right? So you're not going for Rubio and or J.D. Vance. Who are you going for then? And here we go. So today's hockey team was the first Olympics I've watched so far. And it says, U.S. Winter Olympic hockey player Quinn Hughes is being praised for perfectly showing how to be a patriot on the world stage. When we had all these other liberal pieces of shit going to another country, getting paid to go to another country by the United States, and they're talking shit about the United States. This young man does this.
Hell of a game out there. You took down the game winner. I mean, what did that feel like?
Yeah, just a relief. Just really enjoying being here with this group and the guys, and trying to extend it as long as I can.
Right on. And then USA flags all over the place. Whatever. You hear the chants. Yeah. What's that atmosphere like?
Yeah, it's special. I mean, I love the U.S. and it's the greatest country in the world, so happy to represent it here with these guys. And
listen, I love the United States, the greatest country in the world.
Nice. Last one. What are you taking from tonight into Slovakia?
I don't know. I think you just want to move on and be ready to go and get your feet up the next 24 hours and then be ready to go.
Right on, man. Thank you.
Can you tell us what you saw in that final play?
Okay, that's no more U.S. stuff. Yeah, I'm a big hockey fan, but my team always loses. I'm a big San Jose Sharks fan. I used to live in the Bay Area, and my dentist, who was a close friend of mine, he has season tickets to the Sharks. So he would always give me a season ticket. I was like 6th row, right off the side of the net, 6th row down there at the glass. It was amazing. I've met Yevgeny Nabokov. I've got to meet freaking just all the San Jose Sharks. I love them. I went to the finals when they were playing the Penguins. And unfortunately, the one game they lost the whole thing, but the game I went to, they lost. So it kind of sucked. It kind of sucked for me. But I love the San Jose Sharks. Big, huge fan. When I was a kid, because I lived in the LA area, I was an LA Kings fan. Because we had Wayne Gretzky, Kelly Rudy, all those great players back then in the day. All right, here we go. This is J.D. Vance making fun of AOC.
President, very much for your leadership, but also for the kind words about me personally. I knew exactly what I wanted to say, but then after the president said that I was so
good
smart
for you,
and
Goofy.
that I didn't want to repeat our congresswoman who froze for 20 seconds over in Munich, now I'm tempted, sir, just to freeze for 20 seconds. And just stare at the cameras, and maybe they'll say nice things about me like they do about Congresswoman Cortez. But I have 3 very brief messages. First of all,
You got a little. AOC is just a waste of a. That was a waste of space. Just a waste of space. She should. I don't know how she's been revoted in, and now they're talking about making. They're talking about a Kamala Harris AOC ticket for the presidency. Yeah, that's going to be a big mistake. They're not going to win. Anyways, Democrat Mayor Brandon Johnson is upset that the Chicago Bears, by the way, who have now decided to move their team to Indiana. They're leaving Chicago, and he says there's clear evidence for why they should stay. Let's see what his clear evidence is of why they should stay.
Is my face straight? Okay.
Who cares about your face?
Right,
you're an ugly-looking dude.
Here. The Bears belong in the city of Chicago. The Chicago Bears belong in the city of Chicago, right? And I've said repeatedly that the door is always open for conversations.
Yes to?
And Kevin Warren did call me yesterday. We didn't get a chance to connect, and I still firmly believe that their best position
Yes, you did, Sharon.
is in Chicago, and it's evidence. The evidence is clearly speaking for
Goofy,
itself.
I love it.
Is my face straight?
Is my face straight? Hi, Panda Bear. Hi, sweetheart. My little Panda Bear. My little border collie. Yeah. Do the joke. I mean, I've been to Chicago. And I've been to Chicago twice now. I love Al's Italian beef. Oh my gosh, they dip it in the au jus sauce the whole entire thing. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. It's amazing. I wasn't a big fan of the big, huge Chicago style pizza, but we all went there. Me and Ben Berkwam, Will Johnson, who else? Me and Ty. We had a good time over there in Chicago.
All right, keep a straight face here.
It was good. But yeah. All right, Justin, shocking new video shows students storming out of high school in Asheville, North Carolina for an anti-ICE protest on a busy highway per Matt Vance Wall. Look at these dumbass kids. Hold on, wait. Let me make it bigger so everybody can see. These kids are not going out to peacefully protest by any means. They just want to get out of school. They'll do anything to get out of fucking school. I'll be right back. What a bunch of punks. All right, good night. Good night, LW. Good night. Thank you for subscribing to us today. Come visit us again. Let's see, where are we at now? Yeah, these punk kids, and they're flying a Mexican flag. They've never been to Mexico. They wouldn't make it in Mexico. Oh, oops, I already showed that one. Okay, copy. Thank you for joining us tonight, LW, and all of the Domers. Somali-born Democrat Representative Ilhan Omar says that in addition to abolishing ICE, she also wants to dismantle the Department of Human.
What I will say is that
oh shit, that was
there
loud.
is
Sorry,
an easier conversation happening today
Donnie.
than 6-7 years ago when I got to Congress about what we need to do with ICE, which is to abolish it. And there is a lot of conversation about what the dismantlement of the Department of Homeland Security should look like. What I will say is that there is...
So she wants to dismantle both ICE and the Department of Homeland Security. So who's going to protect Americans then? Who's going to protect us? Oh, wait, that's right. She's Muslim, and they hate Christians, and we're a Christian country. And so they want to kill us all, right? So that's why she wants to get rid of DHS, so that way the Muslims can invade our country and kill us all. All right, NBA legend Inez Cantor Freedom, a naturalized American citizen, just destroyed Eileen Gu. So Eileen Gu, or however you say her name, she's an American, right? But she chose to go to the Olympics as a Chinese, for the Chinese team. So watch this. They're destroying her.
Thank you for having me, Laura. I'm just going to say she's a traitor. You know, she was born in America. She raised in America, lives in America, and choose to compete against her own country for literally the worst human rights, abuser on the planet, China.
Okay, real quick, Speed. So your dog got hit by a skunk? Donnie got hit by a skunk the other day. Did you use the solution to where you use 3%? Oh my gosh, what's the stuff you put on your wounds that bubbles? Hydrogen peroxide. So I did a lot of research. They said you use 32 ounces of hydrogen peroxide, only 3%, nothing higher. 2 tablespoons of Dawn dish soap, and a 1/4 cup of baking soda, and that should help get rid of the smell. And also, you can also do vinegar, but don't do them at the same time because the vinegar counter-reacts the other stuff, so they stop each other from working. But that's what I've been putting on Donnie.
Her fame in a free country,
stinky
and
boy.
Then choose to represent an authoritarian regime, which while chasing endorsement deals, linked by watching dog groups and mass detention and forced labor camps.
Come here, Stinky.
She chose to play for a country literally responsible for the deaths of tens of millions of his own people, and literally running a concentration camp while we are talking. And instead of the country where she was born and given the opportunity. So you don't just get to enjoy freedom of US as citizenship while acting literally a global PR asset for the Chinese Communist Party. So she should definitely, pay for the consequences.
That's disgusting, Goofy. Does Spider really like to smell a skunk? Or are you just saying he likes skunk weed? That's disgusting. Donnie stinks. All right, dirty tricks. We now know influencers were offered money to push the false Epstein Huffington's narrative. But who was behind the payments? Most are pointing the finger at Dave Carney, Kelly Hancock, and Greg Abbott. To be clear, I know a lot of Epstein-focused influencers who would happily push the narrative for free, some unknowingly and some knowingly. Really, Greg Abbott? Greg Abbott, huh? Interesting. Interesting. Goofy, that's your governor. And he's a cripple like me. Peroxide, baking soda, and Dawn. Yep, that's exactly what I did. The only problem is Donnie refused to let me spray it on him. So what I've been doing is, in fact, I got the bottle right here. So what I did is I put it in the spray bottle because he wouldn't take a bath, and I spray it on a towel. And then see, look, he ran away from me right now as soon as he saw that bottle. But I spray it onto this towel right here, and then I wipe him down with it. So it's slowly going away. How could she compete for China? Is she a dual citizen? Yes, I believe that's how. Okay. Don Lemon. Let's see what he says here. And Jim Acosta. Oh, of course these two guys are going to lie.
You say in the video, I'm here as a journalist. I'm here covering this. That's what I'm doing. We play the video. You say it, you know.
Not part of the group. I'm just here photographing. I'm a journalist.
I'm a journalist.
Yeah.
I'm here photographing. Like,
Numerous
what part of
times.
that do people not understand?
I don't know. It's weird because they kept saying it even when I told them that I'm not. And I think they were looking at me, and because the bulk of the protesters were black, maybe they thought because I'm black, then, and I kept saying, I'm not a protester.
Okay, now he's bringing in the race card. Fucking dude. When are you going to say, oh, it's because I'm gay too? And real quick, so I didn't get arrested for January 6th because I actually didn't go inside. I was still on property. I was outside, but I was filming. But the thing is, I had a White House press pass. I had an official White House press pool pass. And I had a press pass from the radio station that I do work for here in Fresno. So I was a journalist, and this is this is why I don't, in a way, I don't want him to get arrested. Well, I mean, he did already, but because if he can get arrested for that, even though only thing they could have charged me, what my lawyer says, the only thing they could charge me was a misdemeanor, and it's already been a year, so they can't charge me anymore. But if you start arresting journalists for doing their job, because I was taught in journalism school, you follow, it says it doesn't matter if the crowd goes into a certain place, you follow them. As long as you're not hurting anybody or risking somebody's life, you follow the news, right? And once again, like I said, I had a White House press pool pass. This is my White House press pool pass, which the FBI now has. So, you know, and it even says it on here. So hold on. So this is a picture. This is what everything the FBI stole from me that day. I know I can make it bigger somehow. Here we go. So look at this. Hold on. Oh, here we go. Okay, so you want to see everything that the FBI took from me. Look, January 22nd, 2021. So that was 16 days after January 6th. You want to see everything they took from me? So cell phone, iPhone 12 Pro, my Bob's Big Boy hat, a GoPro 9, my Sennheiser G4, which is a microphone, 2 black t-shirts, Scooter Gate in the front, which is a shirt that I had made, my Proud Boy hat, 1 iPhone in a black case, my recorder H4n Pro, which is a professional recorder, my media pass for Trump rally, which is, that's what they're talking about. They took my media pass for Trump rally, 1 Proud Boy sticker, 1 black card box continuing SanDisk adapter holding 1 SanDisk Extreme Pro memory card, 128 gigabytes, 1 Daytona Proud Boys patch, which somebody gave me, 1 iPad. So they took my iPad, 3 selfie sticks. Then on this one, they took 1 bag of white plastic zip ties. And the reason why I have zip ties is because I have all my camera gear, right? And I zip tie it to the poles so that way nobody can run off with it. My JVC video recording camera, which is a 4K video camera. That's really expensive with microphone and accessories. They took my whole box in the Apache case, labeled Eddie Block Films. My Canon camera, which is a 80D Canon camera. Another, oh wait, so there's my EOS 80D, but then another Canon camera that I had. 1 black bag containing GoPro accessories, some computer stuff, my camouflage backpack container, Proud Boy decals, and Eddie Block Films business cards. My Apple MacBook Pro, which I just bought, right? And then, so over here on this page, they took a total of, I think, 59 things. 1 handicap baggage tag from Delta, because I flew there on Delta. They took my Acer LCD model, 1 iMac desktop. I just bought this iMac. It fully loaded iMac. Cost me a shit ton of money. They just took it. And by the time I get it back, it's not going to be worth anything anymore. Mophie stick, a charger with a cord, a Samsung portable SSD drive by 5 terabytes, yeah. one USB, one HP Pavilion tower, a Dell monitor, one black plate carrier. So they took my plate carrier because it said Proud Boys on it with the Republic, California Republic, and the 3% flag. One spray canister of mace. They took my router, my Xbox One X 360, my Infinity router from Comcast, one GoPro or two GoPro Hero 8s, one Insta 360, one DJI Osmo video camera. So yeah, that's all they took for me, right? But on there it says they took my White House press pass. It's on the fucking paperwork. So that's why it kind of worries me if they want to start arresting journalists, even though what he did was a bullshit thing.
Sir, I'm here covering the protest. I'm not with them. And they were, they just, for some reason, could not understand. And I had to keep telling them that. I'm not part of the group. I'm just here photographing, and I would say chronicling or whatever it is. And that's it, Jim. So why they couldn't figure that out, I don't know. And
you say in the video,
you want to ask why they took my
welcome,
my Bob's Big Boy. Oh, thank you, Dustin, for subscribing to me. Why did they take my Bob's Big Boy hat? I can show you. Let's see. Search. January 6th. Those interviews I did. Interviews. My full video from January 6th. Because I'm wearing that Bob's Big Boy hat. Let's see if I show my face again with my hat. Nope. Anyways, I had a Bob's Big Boy hat at January 6th. That's why they took my Bob's Big Boy hat. And I love Bob's Big Boy. The Bob's Big Boy in Burbank, you can go get yourself a, it's called a chili spaghetti. Oh my gosh, that's my favorite thing to get. Chili spaghetti from Bob's Big Boy. All right, Lara Trump, let's see what she's saying.
Another thing I believe I heard on your podcast that you've discussed with the president is UFOs. Do you think that he's about to make an announcement
it's a drinking
about
night kind of
UFOs?
night.
Because President Obama was just on a podcast
Anybody like
talking
tequila
about how he
cazadores?
believes in UFOs and hinting that he saw something when he was president.
Well, I said this in my podcast too. What's funny is we've kind of asked my father-in-law about
I've seen
this
your
because we're like,
Goofy.
well, what do you know? Because Miranda, we all want to know about the UFOs, or we all want to know what's going on. And he played a little coy with us. And so that, of course, led us to believe, Eric and I were like, oh my gosh, if he won't even like fully tell us, maybe there's more to it. And then I have just heard kind of around that, I think he's actually said, I think my father-in-law's actually said it, that there is some speech that he has that I guess at the right time, and I don't know when the right time is, he's going to break
soon.
out and talk about, and it has to do with maybe some sort of extraterrestrial life, so to speak. I just, I look at things from the perspective of the vastness of our universe. And I'm a kind of a numbers person. I don't get nervous flying because the odds are very much in your favor flying. The odds that anything will happen to you are far greater in a car than they ever will be in an airplane. But I'm also looking at the odds in terms of how much is out there in the universe. And it would be pretty wild to think that the only spot where there was any sort of life in the entire universe was here on Earth. So I don't have any information. I feel like there might be information out there, and hopefully...
Right? I mean, I know God created us, right? But you're telling me that out of all... We don't even know how far space goes out. You're telling me that we're the only planet where life exists? It just doesn't make sense. It really doesn't. Why would God put us on only one planet when all these other planets and solar systems out there? My attorney is working on that, Goofy. I've spent, since 2020, I probably spent about $25,000 on attorneys. $25,000. Because I mean, I've hired so Alex Jones hooked me up with his lawyer. I was supposed to go testify in front of the Nancy Pelosi's January 6th committee, right? So Alex Jones hooked me up with his attorney. Oh my gosh, I can see him right now. I forget his name now. Who's Alex Jones' famous attorney with the ponytail? So Alex Jones hooked me up with his attorney, and I had to pay him a lot of money to get me out of the January 6th committee. But I got out. I never testified. I did have to testify in front of, for the Proud Boys trial, but I was testifying for the defense team. And Enrique Tarrio, a good friend of mine, one of the first things he did when he got out, I said, "Where's my favorite crippled buddy with the service dog?" On X, because he was meaning me, because he says, even though I didn't help them not go to jail, I was one of the only people that stood up there and testified on behalf of them. Anyways, woman arrested after ditching her dog at the Las Vegas airport when she told she couldn't bring it on board. This fucking bitch needs to lose all her rights to ever fucking having an animal. They need to throw her in a fucking cage. So the woman was told her golden doodle couldn't fly because it wasn't a registered service animal. Instead of leaving the airport, the woman decided to tie her dog up to the JetBlue ticket counter and leave for the departure gate. Airline staff advised the dog's owner she was required to complete online documentation in order to travel with the animal as a service dog. When the required paperwork was not completed, the passenger was denied a boarding pass. She then left the dog behind and proceeded through the airport to the departure. I hope this lady just fucking disgusting fucking lady. Let's watch the video.
Actually, I'm gonna put my bag down because I'm exhausted.
No, what we're gonna do is we're gonna walk you back to where your
Oh, and look, she's a person of color.
dog's at, and then when you get issue a citation because you left your dog at the ticket counter.
Well, I was trying to rebook my flight.
So you walked out here to rebook your flight?
Yes.
And left your dog there.
Tell me at the counter because
So walk out here without your dog.
What a fucking bitch. She's just another one of these people that only has a dog for show. They don't care about their fucking dogs. It's just like a piece of jewelry to them. I hope this lady I hope the worst of the worst that could happen to a person happens to this lady. And I'm sorry I say that, but you know me. You know, if there's some place that won't allow me to go with my service dog, I won't go. Donnie and Panda are my babies. Donnie is my service dog, and if they don't let him go in a place, I won't go. Now, granted, when I have to get an MRI and stuff, I can't take him because it's an MRI machine and stuff like that. So I understand that part. But everywhere else, Donnie goes with me. He has saved my life more times than I can count. He lets me know when I start getting dizzy and I'm about to faint. If it wasn't for Donnie, I would have never got tested for hydrocephalus. And it looks like now I do have hydrocephalus. And it's all because Donnie kept telling me, "There's something wrong, Dad. There's something wrong." If I'm I have a mobility scooter, okay? But when I go to Costco, I don't bring it because, my basket's like this big on my mobility scooter. And everybody knows Costco, you need a big basket. Is the stream skipping? I'm sorry, is my stream skipping? Let me look. Is it, guys? Hold on, is my stream skipping? Oh, it is? Okay, hold on 1 second. Let me close some stuff down. Let me see what I can close down to get it to stop. First off, I got a whole bunch of stuff open. Let me close this. Let me close this. Let me close this. Let me close. Maybe it's because I got a lot of stuff open right now. Give me 1 second. Tell me if it starts getting better, guys. I do have Starlink and it's snowing really bad right now. Oh, good night, Sharon. Good night, then. How about now? Is it better now, guys? Is it better now? Is that better? Where was I? What was I saying now about service dog? Oh, so anyways, so Donnie, I go to Costco and I have to use their scooter. Well, sometimes they don't have scooters because there's people that either a lot of disabled people that night, or the people that take them that don't need them. So I was walking through Costco, and Donnie he wouldn't move, and he got in between me and the cart. And I'm like, come on, Donnie, I'm starting to hurt. I need to get this stuff done. Let's hurry up. Is that better? What's up, my Tom? So anyways, I'm sitting there getting, I'm like I'm feeling weird, but I don't notice it and too much. So Donnie made me stop. And I was like, come on, Donnie, let's go. So I start walking, and he gets in between me and the cart again. And then I start walking some more, and he gets in between me and the cart again. And this time, he's like pushing on my knees, right? Donnie pushed me on my knees so I would lean on top of him. So I start laying on top of him like this, and I come to realize I'm about to faint. Donnie tells me now when I'm about to faint. And when I'm having trouble walking, I say, Donnie, help me walk, and he helps me walk. So that's why Donnie has saved my life so many times that it's not even funny. And that's why I put Donnie ahead of anybody in my life. So fuck this bitch. Leaving her dog at the fucking airport. I hope she gets everything she deserves. Hold on. Speaking of Donnie, he wants to go outside. You want to go outside, handsome? You want to go outside? Come on. Come on. Yeah, you want to go. There you go, guys. Go outside, babies. Poor puppy. Look at that cute dog. Who would leave their dog at the ticket counter like that? Oh, I'm going on vacation. I'm going to leave my fucking dog here. She didn't deserve it. Let's put... She's an R. That's all I'm going to say. Fuck Juneteenth. Oh, I know. We all love Donnie, right? Donnie is the greatest dog in the world. He saves my life every fucking day. Anyways, oh my gosh, a leftist professor at Coastal Carolina Community College in North Carolina was repeatedly caught raging during class, calling President Trump a fascist dictator and Charlie Kirk a racist piece of shit. He claims it's the end of democracy because educators got fired for celebrating the assassination of innocent American. Reminder that your tax dollars pay his salaries. Listen to this douchebag.
That is unfortunate that it's come to this. It is, in my opinion, fascism. It is, in my opinion, a dictator trying to take over a country that is a democracy. And in the country that we supposedly believe in freedom of everything. I mean, wasn't that the whole stupid Charlie Kirk thing? Why people were getting fired is because they, didn't like him, that he's a First Amendment warrior. Isn't that why professors got fired for saying he was a racist piece of shit? Which he was.
Fuck you.
Did he deserve to die? No, but he was a racist piece of shit.
Fuck you.
And Turning Point USA is a racist piece of shit organization. I will say it.
Fuck you.
And they just started a group on this campus. And it's people like them that are coming into these classrooms and recording us, trying to get us fired because they don't agree with us. That's it. That's it. And so I'm not going to talk about this anymore, but if you didn't know that was what was happening, wake up, people. Wake the hell up. This is the end of a democracy that you are seeing firsthand.
So do you listen to this teacher, this professor? He says, oh yeah, it's them who are recording us to get us in trouble. Well, if you weren't doing anything wrong and they recorded you, then you wouldn't be getting fired, right? Right? Fucking asshole. I graduated in 2019 from Fresno State. University of California, Fresno State. Right? And I wore my MAGA hat every fucking day to class. Every fucking day. I didn't care what professors thought about me. Fuck them. All right, so here's about the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears, Indiana gets the Chicago Bears and a new space-age stadium plus billions of dollars in new tourism. Chicago gets Obama DEI garbage can. Yeah, the Bears. The Bears. So, Portland, Oregon, serial Antifa agitator Kylie Delgado admits on vehicle that her crew's been logging ICE license plates for months, memorizing them to avoid or harass federal immigration agents. This chick is stupid saying it on TV.
Several months ago, when different activism groups started logging ICE license plates, I had this nagging fear of what could happen eventually, and that nagging fear is becoming true. And that is that license plates that have been confirmed and vehicles that have been confirmed as ICE are now being returned by companies like Hertz and Enterprise into their regular commercial fleet and rented by regular citizens like you and I, like your grandma and grandpa, like your niece and nephew. And these people have no idea the history of these vehicles that they're driving around. Not only that, these vehicles are being used in the same area in which ICE agents were renting them. And so, regardless of a database that some people may have access to or not, to look up those license plates, a lot of regular citizens who have been harassed for months on end have memorized these plates. They know which cars to avoid. They know which cars are ICE. And now regular citizens are being asked to drive these vehicles with no knowledge of their history. I want Hertz and Enterprise to be held accountable. I want them tagged in this video.
Wait a minute. So because you guys have been attacking these vehicles because ICE agents were renting them, you want Hertz to be accountable, not you. What a waste of a beautiful body, because she is a good-looking woman, but you're a piece of shit, lady.
Want to know their answer for this problem. It's very scary. It's very dangerous. Imagine that your grandpa rents a car and he's not from the state. He has no idea what's going on. He's driving around. All of a sudden he's being followed, and he recognizes that he's being followed, and he stops on a rural road to see what's happening. And now there's a tense situation between him, who, let's imagine he looks like, he's a white, middle-aged man in a baseball cap, and a meager watcher is there filming. That's a very tense situation that can lead to violence given the personality types of the people involved, and it is unfair to the people who are renting these vehicles as well as the people who have been working hard to track ICE.
So it's all Hertz and Enterprise fault, right? It's not your fault for fucking with them. It's not your fault for being a dumbass who is damaging vehicles just because they think they might be ICE
activity, that these companies are returning these vehicles to the regular fleet. It's selfish. It's just gross negligence. It is very dangerous. There needs to be a separate government fleet and commercial fleet for vehicles.
Folks, this is the youth of today. Nothing's their fault. Nothing's ever their fault. It's always somebody else's fault.
Don't know how to enforce this legislatively, but I do want this word to get out so that Hertz and Enterprise come up with an answer.
Right? I mean, look, she's got a nice rack down there. She's a beautiful young lady, but yeah.
Sir, because I am terrified.
Fucking, you're terrified. Oh my gosh, you're a white liberal lady. What do you have to be terrified about? What does she have to be terrified about? Please, somebody explain to me this. What does she have that's terrifying about in her life? As you can tell, she was in a nice car. Look, it's a nice car. She's got leather seats, right? A full sunroof. But yet, she's terrified of ICE. Oh, yeah. So listen to I know you don't want to hear Whoopi Goldberg speak.
There seems to be no ability in his mind to distinguish between Black people and his idea of what DEI is. And when you really look up and see who this was for, who benefited from DI. It was not black folks. We got the vote in the 60s. So my question is, well, what was going on before that? What about, where was all of the things that you say were removed? Did people not have jobs? Did the people, if you couldn't go to school, didn't you have to find a different way to support your family? That's what people did. That's what we all did. So he has not a great history. There seems to be no ability in his mind to distinguish between.
Sorry, I'm trying to do more than one thing at one time. What, Donnie's? Donnie's like, Dad, I know you got chicken, orange chicken. Dad's got orange chicken. I want some, Dad. Oh, this is a good buddy of mine too. This is Robert Gavea. He's a very smart person. Hold on, let me see something here real quick. Make sure I didn't miss one. Was this Lose a TikTok? Yes, it was. Okay. They're always the victim, right? All right, so this guy is Robert Gavea. He's an attorney from Arizona. I've actually been featured on his...
With the intent, liars.
I've actually been featured on his show before when I was in the Proud Boy trial. So he's a real cool dude, but listen to this. He's an attorney, he does really good stuff.
Cases right now of non-citizens on the voter rolls. Is that the law was written with the intent of legislators trying to help their friends. Which is weird because Fani Willis and Nathan Wade were helping her friends. Were helping the J6 committee and Jack Smith prosecute their political opponents. Very strange.
And then you have the overall problem with, is it constitutional? And that's another issue we raised.
While a judge will have to decide, Willis writes in her motion that her office has no plans to pay the $17 million bill.
Oh, you're going to pay. Georgia now admitting that non-citizens, aka illegal aliens, were found on the voter rolls. They were summoned to jury duty, and some of them voted. We got a couple of clips here today. The state election board was in session. We're very familiar with these people. And today they were receiving a bunch of complaints and processing them. So complaints are filed. Then they ask for the complainant to come and explain what's going on, or they ask for the respondents, the people who are the ones who were responsible for the problem, to come in and explain themselves. So here's what Heather Mullins shared with us. She said, the Georgia State Election Board is hearing testimony about it today. She's covering all this for Real Lindell TV. Shout out to their crew. Imagine if a non-citizen didn't admit to being a non-citizen. They catch these non-citizens because they check a box. I'm a non-citizen. They still make it onto the voter rolls, and in some cases, they still make it onto jury duty. What if they sat on a jury? You've got non-citizens convicting American citizens. It is happening. Right. So this is very disturbing. We're learning this is happening in Georgia. Here's what happened.
And to share with this audience, there's also a federal program called SAFE, I believe it is, that will run the entire database for the state of Georgia, or certainly for Fulton County or any county, DeKalb County, to look for non-citizens. And it is free. It is free now. It used to require some payment. It is now free. I do not understand why every county or the entire state is not running this database to check for non-citizens, rather than us just putting out press releases that we have no non-citizen on our voter roll. That's not true. We're looking at 7 cases or 9 cases right now of non-citizens on the voter rolls. And these are just 2 counties of 159 counties in this state. We could do better than this.
And this is what we know because they were summoned to do jury duty, and they happened to do the right thing by saying that they're a non-citizen. But if you have a bunch of people on the rolls where we have counties that county election workers are not trained to look for non-citizen IDs, they're just matching the voter rolls. And then on top of that, if you have someone who does get a jury summons and decides that they want to go and sit on our jury, even though they're a non-citizen, then we don't catch them. So for people that are saying, oh, it's just 9 people, it's just 9 people that happen to do the right thing.
Yes.
We have a lot of other people out there that may be on the rolls that haven't, especially when we have inflated and dirty voter rolls. So I think we should look at requesting counties to send their voter rolls through the system so that we can scrub these voter rolls to ensure that there aren't any non-citizens on them.
Yeah, and it's very strange how they keep saying that there are no illegal aliens on our voter rolls. We're also seeing the same thing in Arizona. The county recorder, Justin Heap, said, yeah, we got 60 people, non-citizens. They previously voted. They checked them against the SAVE database, and the numbers are cumulative. They add up, and you're seeing that is happening there in Georgia. Now, we also are seeing that one of those non-citizens voted for over 20 20 years in
20
Georgia
years.
from DeKalb County. And here's this admission from one of the Georgia representatives who is explaining exactly what happened from their perspective.
He indicated that he was a U.S. citizen on his voter registration card. That was a registration that came in by mail. I guess I should say with respect to voter Jones also, he registered in October of 96 and he voted in numerous elections from 1998 through 2018. And I believe it was when he
11 times, right?
I don't know the exact number. I don't have that right here in front of me, but I know he voted in elections from 1998 through 2018.
Right.
And I think he did go for jury duty, said he was a permanent resident, he was not a citizen, and then stopped voting after that, is my understanding.
Great. So illegal aliens voting 11 times apparently and sitting on jury duties, convicting American citizens. We were supposed to have a jury of our peers, not a jury of illegal alien invaders who are also voting in our elections. And we have another one where this woman is actually working for the government and she's also explaining the same thing. In Georgia, we have illegal voters. We've got fraud mucking up the entire election.
My name is Karen Pashuta. I am the attorney for the Fulton County Board of Registrations and Elections. It's just retained on Monday. You've probably seen me here before, though. Our office only represents local government clients, and I usually handle all the election offices. So I have been here before. With this case, we do admit that all three of the registrants that were in Fulton County appear to not be citizens. One of them was registered in 2013. The other two were in 2017. None of them have a voting history. Since that time, the system has changed immensely, and especially with Jarvis. Now there's more affirmative
Is this
steps
fiance
that have to
pregnant?
be taken.
Is that what you're trying to say,
yes
Goofy?
to everything, including that they are a U.S. citizen, and also you upload basically the proof of their citizenship. So since then, not only has the state enhanced its procedures and the procedure with Jarvis, also
Is that what you're trying to say, Goofy? Is Robert Gavea's fiance pregnant? Interesting. I haven't been on the show in a while. Do you still see my ex-girlfriend in there? That's the main reason why I don't go.
So the standard operating procedures are newer than they were in 2013 and 2017. You should have received an email yesterday. That packet does include a copy of that portion of Fulton's operating procedures and the steps that registration officials take to verify all the information to make sure that they are not already registered with their driver's license or other information, and also to include the citizenship information.
So they're on the rolls, and according to Georgia, they're voting sometimes many times over, and it is riddled with fraud. So of course, Trump during 2020 and the recount and the challenges, they were trying to identify those people. Remember, they were saying in order to file a lawsuit, all we need to do is create a threshold amount of votes. We needed to go find, said Trump, from our perspective, 11,800 votes. Then that gives them the threshold to say, oh, it would change the outcome of the election if our litigation moves forward, but you got to at least get to that number. They say we've already got those numbers. That turned into the whole Trump ordered Brad Raffensperger to go find the votes and rig the elections. None of that was true. They were just saying if you comb through the records like we're doing now, you would find stuff like this and you could add those up to 11,800. But of course, Fani Willis decided to prosecute the president. She lost her case because of her noxious odor and her appearance of impropriety. And she's been ordered, or has now been demanded, to pay $17 million out of her booty back over to Trump and the co-defendants who got ramrodded by her fake prosecution while she was out banging her lover, Nathan Wade. So now we see Atlanta, WSB TV shared this. They had a conversation with Big Fanny, the biggest Fanny in Georgia, and she's still reeling about this. She hates not having money. She shoves a lot of it in her mattress, drinks Grey Goose, spends thousands of dollars on handbags and Biggie Smalls fur coats. And so she sat down for an interview. She's now sharing her thoughts on the attempts to recoup the legal fees from the rigged election in Georgia. She said, we're going to fight with everything we legally can.
All right, good night, Ronnie. Thanks for stopping by.
Investigative report.
By the way, guys, if you don't know, go check out Dome After Dark with Ronnie. He's normally on around this time, playing video games and other good stuff. So good night, buddy. And once again, thank you for being part of the raid today, because I really appreciated that. You guys got me over my threshold that I needed for views and for chat today to get to finish and fulfill my creator program. You can see I am all green all the way down now. All green all the way down. I got 48 hours streamed, 38 unique chatters, 5.1 hours of that's members hours, and I got over 237 now hours and 8 raids. So I'm good. So Ronnie, you guys helped me make that, and let Mr. Rotella know.
That law's unconstitutional. That makes her have to pay. If you get
Valley ho.
disqualified because of your impropriety, you got to pay the damages. You don't get just to prosecute everybody, make their lives hell, make them spend millions of dollars. You getting hundreds of millions of dollars of earned media saying Trump got indicted, 19 co-defendants, RICO case. Every day we heard that constantly. Ridiculous. So now she's saying, well, sorry, there's nothing you can do about that. I'm Big Fanny. I can just continue on without any repercussions at all. Saying, according to a state law passed last year, Trump and those who faced charges in the election interference case that Willis sought now seek to go get their legal fees back. Now, Willis, of course, is fighting this in court and wanting to prevent the payment of the $17 million sought by the defense attorneys. The first problem, she said, is that the law was written with the intent of legislators trying to help their friends, which is weird because Fani Willis and Nathan Wade were helping her friends, were helping the J6 committee and Jack Smith prosecute their political opponents. Very strange. And of course, this just makes logical sense. It's not about helping Trump or the co-defendants. You should have repercussions. If your government abuses you, if they weaponize their office, steal Georgia taxpayer dollars to pay her lover so that they can go on cruises, then he gets paid a bunch of money and then spends the money on Fannie to go to Napa Valley, then there should be repercussions for that. And that was just a contemplated decision of the Georgia legislature. They're the ones who decided to do that. And she says, wanting to help their friends or anybody who's been abused by Fannies. So whenever you do something for a wrong purpose, it's going to work out wrongly, she says, which is just a very Fanny thing to say. It's terribly written. It looks like they wrote it on the back of a napkin, is what she's talking about the statute. Now, attorney Chris Anelwitz told Wynn, the reporter, that he represents one of the former defendants. He said that he doesn't believe the law's poorly written at all. We looked at it here. And was written in response to the actions of Willis and her office. The legislature is saying, we don't want Fannyland wrecking our city and our county, and so we're going to pass laws to reverse this. Willis said that to collect the fees, there needs to be a finding of improper conduct by the prosecutor, which of course we found. We found it so badly that Nathan Wade was thrown off the case. We found it so bigly that Fannie was then later thrown off the case once she appealed it up to the Court of Appeals, and the Georgia Supreme Court didn't accept it, confirming that Fannie needed to go. Why? Impropriety, even the appearance of such. She says that although there was a finding of an appearance of impropriety, that's not enough. And appearance is enough. McAfee, who donated to Fannie and who was the inspector general who was supposed to investigate this case and then didn't, and then donated to Fannie and then had her case prosecuted in his courtroom, even said that there was an appearance of impropriety, and then he got overturned by the Court of Appeals. She said no court found that there was actually improper evidence, though, or improper conduct. Anelwitz, one of the lawyers, he maintains the law at issues would absolutely cover the appearance of impropriety. Willis says attorneys are seeking reimbursement for things like hotel rooms and seafood lunches and all the things. She said, this is so rich from Fannie, they should be ashamed of themselves. How dare they spend this money accordingly, which is just rich, man, because Fannie was like jet setting all over the planet back when she had that money coming in from Fulton County that she was paying to her lover. Now, he did not submit, he says, the lawyer, I didn't submit any outrageous expenses. I'll defend my expenses completely. Other attorneys can defend their expenses, but explains the law is retroactive, meaning they can come up with a law for conduct that has already occurred, and the Constitution, Willis says, you can't do that. She's like, what's retroactive? They passed the law after I was already banging Nathan. So since it came after the fact, my noxious odor isn't covered. Anelwitz, though, says, no. Those are for individuals, not the government. This is not how that works. You're accountable for this, and you better pay out of that Fannie. And so we got this report over here from WSB TV walking us through what the latest is in Fannyland.
County DA Fani Willis is asking a judge to throw out Donald Trump and the other election interference defendants' request for an estimated $17 million in legal fees. Channel 2's Richard Elliott is live at the state capitol, where a new Georgia law insists her office is on the hook for that money.
It was written specifically for Fani Willis in the election interference case. If she got disqualified,
that was weird.
If the charges against the defendants were dismissed, which also happens, then her office could be on the hook for all of those legal fees. But more than one person says they're not sure that law is legal. In her new filing, Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis calls the estimated $17 million legal bill for Donald Trump and the other election interference defendants, quote, a suitably preposterous sum. In her motion to have that bill thrown out, Willis says some of the claims include $1,000 a night hotel rooms and seafood lunches costing hundreds of dollars, often, she claims, paid for by the Georgia Republican Party and various Trump PACs. Quote, the defendants are asking that the district attorney's budget and the taxpayer funds be handed over to the Trump campaign and the Georgia Republican Party for expenses including luxury hotels and seafood lunches.
Richard, there are a number of issues that we raised in our filing.
We spoke with Georgia Prosecuting Attorneys Council Counsel Director Pete Scandalakis after a judge disqualified Fonnie Willis from the case. Scandalakis had to take it over and eventually dismissed all the charges. He didn't want to comment on Willis's newest filing, but
Does
he
she ever
also
say
filed
anything
his
back?
own motion saying he didn't feel the law that allowed Trump and the others to get their legal bills paid by Fulton County taxpayers was constitutional, a law passed specifically for Fonnie Willis and this case.
And then you have the overall problem with, is it constitutional? And that's another issue we raised.
While a judge will have to decide, Willis writes in her motion that her office has no plans to pay the $17 million bill.
Oh, you're going to pay.
The district attorney
pretty
has no
sure she will
intention
have
of
to.
allowing Fulton County taxpayers to pay such an absurd amount for such an absurd reason.
You're going to pay, Big Fanny. Get that checkbook out. Get that cash from under your mattress. Wash it, sanitize it, put it in the washing machine, dry it out, and then deliver it over to Steve Sadow and the defendants.
I hope she does pay. She must pay, right? Fuck Fanny. Excuse my language. Not really. Whoops, we just saw that one. Okay. I don't think Ronnie's here anymore, Goofy. I think he went to bed. Man, we've been streaming a long time today. So a judge just issued an emergency injunction halting voting on the referendum to redraw Virginia's congressional maps per WVTF. This is great news. Democrat Governor Spanberger is attempting to redraw the maps to eliminate 4 Republicans from Congress this year. If successful, Republicans would only have 1 seat in Congress from Virginia rather than 5 that they currently have. Good. Good. Oh, wait, you know, we played this video already, didn't we? My bad. My bad. We did. Bad Eddie. Bad Eddie playing stuff over again. All right. Oh, it's not a video. So President Trump says Obama gave away classified information on aliens. This comes after Obama's comments in an interview that aliens are real, which he later retracted. President Trump said he gave classified information. He's not supposed to be doing that. Asked whether he knows if aliens are real, President Trump said he did not know if they are real or not. But why would he then say that Obama gave out classified information, saying that there are aliens, right? To me, it sounds like there are aliens. And like I said before, I believe there's got to be aliens somewhere out there in this world. Okay, 6 massive Stratotanker planes from Florida are parked at Sofia Airport Base in Bulgaria. It's refueling the big U.S. air buildup across Europe and the Middle East. Jets, command birds, intel gear, all aimed at Iran. Do you guys think... Oh, Ronnie is still here. Is double dipping on hugs, no worries. Cool thing about them is... Right? We love Dome After Dark. And we also love Rotella streams. Mr. Rotella's been cool to me. Right? So, yeah. What do you guys think? I'm guessing this weekend is when... And sometime this weekend at night, we are going to attack Iran. That's just my thought. That's my thought. What do you guys think? What do y'all think? Okay, a mob of students from NCH schools in Ohio invaded a Kroger during an anti-ICE protest, vandalizing the store, which even resulted in an injured customer. I thought these are supposed to be peaceful protests.
Chaos at the Kroger in North College Hill, all captured this afternoon on camera here. Thanks a lot for joining us at 11. I'm Mike Dardis.
And good evening to you. I'm Cherie Palello. Video from a shopper inside shows dozens of high school students tearing through the store and throwing things from the shelves. Tonight, we're hearing from police, school leaders, and the man who took that video. Our Daisy Kershaw live for us in North College Hill tonight with it all. Hi, Daisy.
Hi, Cherie. Mike, police say that they were aware of a student-led protest against ICE earlier today. Officers even helped with traffic during that protest. But tonight, they're saying that what followed afterwards inside a nearby Kroger store was anything but peaceful.
That's North College. Oh! couple hundred of juveniles reported walking in the roadway towards the Kroger with signs.
I was just in Kroger and I was doing just a daily shop. A group of students came in rolling real fast, 50 plus students.
That's crazy.
They started chanting about what been going on all around the country.
McAdrian Martin among the shoppers left in shock.
Just info, there's a scheduled walkout by the students from the school, so you may get other calls.
They was coming from all directions. So not only for my checkout, but they was coming into the main entrance, into the side entrance. They was just all coming at once.
Martin took out his phone to capture the commotion.
A lot of the students went into the beer section, into the wine and the alcohol section, and they was throwing cans and bottles. The ceiling is kind of off right now because they was throwing the bottles and cans so high up.
Martin says a man was hit.
A customer got hurt. He was highly upset at the fact that he was just coming to the store to shop and he got hit in the head, which was not supposed to happen.
Tonight, customers condemning this chaos.
As a Kroger shopper and a customer, we're supposed to come friendly, safe, and in a great shopping environment.
Apparently
now,
not.
The superintendent of North College Hills Schools put out a statement tonight, reading in part, quote, "This video is disturbing and the parents and families of these students should be embarrassed. NCH Schools will be working with the North College Hill Police Department to identify those students so they can be held accountable." Now, police say that many of the teens at that protest earlier were complying with law enforcement officials, saying that the teens seen inside that Kroger store acted separately. Reporting live tonight in North College Hill, Daisy Kershaw, WLWT.
Interesting. She is cute. I don't like the lips, though. I hate when they blow their lips up like that. I don't like it. It doesn't look real enough. It doesn't look real. You know? I just don't. Ooh, somebody took their page down. Or their post down. Okay, copy link. She's a good-looking woman. Just the lips, the fake lips. Women should be perfect on their own. Okay, so Alex Taylor Fontenot of Lake Charles, Louisiana, has been indicted after she posted a video online threatening to kill ICE agents. You can't make this stuff up, folks. You can't.
I've been waiting for the ICE. Guess what? This message is for you. Don't come to my house if you're planning on leaving alive. Crazy. You step foot onto my house, leaving in a body
She
bag.
definitely seems crazy.
I've been waiting for the day that I get to pew-pew a tyrannical government uprising. And
All right, good night, Ronnie. Have a good night, buddy.
my dad just pew-pewed and murdered my
Valley ho.
So I have all this built-up rage and anger. You come to my house, you'll actually be helping me aim it in a positive direction. Don't worry. No one will get hurt. You'll be dropped like flies immediately. So you won't feel a thing. The GOP had ample opportunities to abolish the Second Amendment before they realized that what they're doing is going to cause a revolution from the American people
She's
against
a
the tyrannical
psycho.
government. So come to my house, please. I beg you. I beg you. I beg you. Because you're not
Hey, why do women like making videos on the toilet? Can somebody explain this to me? She's sitting on the toilet making a video. It's either that or in their cars. I don't get it.
It'll actually be very therapeutic for me. My therapist did recommend that I find a hobby or a healthy outlet to release my pent-up rage and anger into.
So Ice, if you walk into my house, count your f***s because you're turning into my hobby.
So come
She's probably good in bed,
you
though.
for helping me find my next outlet.
She's probably good in bed. You know, she's crazy like that. Oops, did I say that? Oh, what did I do wrong here? What did I do wrong? I don't think I copied the link right. Ronnie's like, I could fix her. See, that one's gone too. They've been deleting a lot of posts on X lately. You know what it is? People will write a post and realize they spelled something wrong because they're going so fast to try and be the first one to get it out there. And then they delete it because they spelled something wrong. And then when I go to do my stuff here, it's all gone. All right, so Liz Crompton says Jeffrey Epstein was an intelligence asset, bragged to Mossad that he had blackmailed Prince Andrew, and referred to him as his Super Bowl trophy. Let's see what this lady has to say.
I would like to ask, when it comes to Virginia Giuffre, what are some of the perhaps things that you could elucidate for us that would point to potentially higher charges here? I think that's the question. So we put up all of the evidence of Prince Andrew effectively insider trading, and that's pretty obvious in the emails. He's giving classified information to the world's foremost pederast. He's excited to share stock trading tips, potential business moves. He's a trade envoy, so he has insider knowledge of this stuff. It's insider trading, right? And Jeffrey Epstein did an enormous amount of that. Jeffrey Epstein famously said he wouldn't buy a stock unless he had inside information about what was going to happen with that company. And so this is something that he was using to get filthy rich as part of where some of his fortune comes from. I think they have Prince Andrew dead to rights on you were abusing your position and classified information. What if they accelerated those charges? And you're just such a subject matter expert on this.
No, I haven't.
You know, where would you see it going if they
Tell me about it.
could accelerate those charges? The one thing that we brought up earlier in the show, Liz, is that Israeli security was installed and monitoring cameras in Jeffrey Epstein's apartments. You can see in the emails that they were setting up cameras on the beds and like photographing the beds. The DOJ has straight up released pornographic videos. They blacked everything out, but that were clearly filmed surreptitiously. The statement that this is not a blackmail operation is
okay. I gotta look up surreptitiously. Surreptitiously. No, serendipitously. Okay, hold on. Allow. How do you spell serendipitously? Hold on. What does serendipitously mean? Oh, it won't do it. Okay, never mind. I guess we don't know. I don't know how to spell it either.
Insane and ludicrous at this point.
Yeah.
Do you believe?
What
and it's
does
a two-part question. Do you
serendipitously
believe they
mean?
have hard evidence of Prince Andrew and these crimes? And do you think that will be what happens next? Do you think they'll accelerate these charges?
Yeah, I do. So I'll get to Israel Mossad in a second. But let me start with this. So he was arrested for misconduct in office, which, by the way,
Goofy's still
can
behind.
hold up to a life sentence in prison. Like that could be the punishment, just for that alone. But specifically, he was arrested because he shared allegedly confidential government information with Jeffrey Epstein. Now, that's very interesting and intriguing to me because, as you and I know, Jeffrey Epstein was running a blackmail intelligence operation. He was working with Mossad, or was just flat out Mossad, or maybe Mossad was working for him. We also know that he was working with the CIA. The reason why I think this is interesting is because this, I believe, is Pandora's box that is about to be opened, because this investigation could prove that Jeffrey Epstein, without a shadow of a doubt, was indeed an intelligence asset. And that's why he was trying to get, state secrets from the UK, because he was running an intelligence operation. I will add that there have been people for years that have talked about how Jeffrey Epstein was a Mossad agent, or was working for Mossad, or basically is Mossad. And there are people that have even gone on the record and they have said that Jeffrey Epstein used to brag about how he basically had Prince Andrew completely blackmailed. And he bragged about how he was giving all the information he got from Prince Andrew to Mossad. So that would be, obviously, you would think that would be a huge problem with the UK and their government. And he even used to say that his get with Prince Andrew, he used to refer to it as the Super Bowl trophy, because getting someone from the royal family to be blackmailed and compromised, and to be also getting potentially state secrets on their country from that person, would be a Super Bowl trophy for someone running.
Well, of course. And we now know that he was actually blackmailing Prince Andrew, because Prince Andrew actually was there. Right? Because former Prince Andrew just got arrested for. Check it out. I actually been to, not this restaurant, but I've been to one of these restaurants. Varsity.
Too young for that. Come on, wait. Let's get a good one. President right there. Come on. Order the cash register. 45 years. 24 years. You're too young for that. Come on, wait. I'll get a Let's get a good one. President right there. Come on. Order the cash register. 45 years. 24 years.
Testing. Sorry, my battery died on my wireless mic. Sorry about that, y'all. Sorry about that. My microphone died. I had to plug it in. All right, Julian Stratton, a Democrat, the current lieutenant governor of Illinois, and a candidate for U.S. Senate, just released a campaign ad featuring Governor J.B. Pritzker with people saying, fuck Trump. When did this become okay to do this stuff? Right? When did this become okay to do stuff like this in commercials?
Vote Juliana. Fuck Trump. Vote Juliana.
Fuck Trump. Vote Juliana.
They said it, not me. I'm Juliana Stratton, and I'm proud to have lived my whole life on the south side of Chicago. I'm not scared of a wannabe dictator. I'm running for Senate to stand up to Donald Trump. I'll abolish ICE and hold Trump accountable for the crimes he's committed, just like they said.
Like, how is this okay?
Fuck Trump. Fuck Trump. Vote Juliana. That's why I approve this message.
When did this become accessible, folks? Please tell me. When did cussing like this for politicians, especially on commercials, become acceptable? This is crazy. All right, this is where Lex, we heard this already, but this is where his attorney said, if you answer with more than 5 words, I'm going to fucking kill you.
It was just regularly done.
We watched this. We watched
regularly
this already, so we heard it. Okay, so check this out. The three bears race across the ski slope at North Star California Resort near Lake Tahoe. What appears to be a female bear and her 2 cubs. Watch this. This is insane. What would you do if you were skiing and you saw 3 bears out there?
Stop!
Look at the bears.
Get out of there!
And you know, the bears are just scared. You got to feel bad for the bears, right? Poor bears. They're not hurting anybody. They're just scared. We're invading their territory, right? And look at the dumbasses. Let's get close and take a picture. Hold on. I'm going to pet the bear. I'm going to pet the bear. Fucking dumbasses. Wow. He didn't say serendipity. He said some other word. And actually, Goofy's like 10 minutes behind, so I don't know why I'm answering her. What a bunch of dumbasses. Leave the bears alone. You know, if you see them there, you should just kind of ignore them, and they'll ignore you, maybe. So, an illegal alien just tried to murder a police officer in South Carolina. Wow.
The U.S. Department of Homeland Security is sharing new details about the man who was shot and killed in a deputy-involved shooting on Johns Island. According to the Charleston County Sheriff's Office, that shooting happened last Wednesday at the intersection of Edenborough Road and Caroline Lane. DHS says the man shot, Floriberto Perez Nieto, was in the U.S. illegally. Officials say he was previously convicted of illegal re-entry. Now, the shooting followed an overnight chase that went from a vehicle chase to a foot chase on Johns Island. Officials say Perez Nieto shot a Charleston County deputy in the chest. During that incident, that deputy was wearing body armor and was not injured.
Thank goodness.
Officials say Perez Nieto had been removed from the U.S. back in 2019, and they are not sure when he returned. The U.S. Department of Home...
if he went back in 2019, I'm pretty sure Biden and his administration let him back in, lady. I like your voice, but, you know, come on. Come on. We know the answer to that question. Someone stole an ambulance, unloaded it with gas cans, or loaded it with gas cans, and rammed into an Idaho federal building. Holy shit.
Last night at approximately 11:10 p.m., officers from the Meridian Police Department, the Ada County Sheriff's Office, Boise Police Department, and the Meridian Fire Department responded to a 911 call reporting that a Canyon County paramedics ambulance had been stolen from the ambulance bay at St. Luke's West. Preliminary investigation indicates the suspect drove the ambulance north through the parking lot.
No, you don't,
and retrieved
Dustin.
gas cans that had been
Same
staged
thing with
in nearby vegetation. The suspect
Moose.
then drove the ambulance directly into the North Portico building, which
Wow.
houses Department of Homeland Security offices. Investigators believe the suspect poured an accelerant inside and around the outside of the ambulance. At this time, it appears the suspect was unable to ignite the accelerant before being scared off by responding agencies. We want to emphasize that this was a serious criminal act. The theft and destruction of an emergency vehicle not only created risk to responding personnel, but it also temporarily removed a critical medical resource from the community. There has been a lot of rhetoric surrounding the Department of Homeland Security leasing office space at this location, and comments on social media such as property damage isn't violence is absolutely false. This was absolutely an act of violence.
Yeah,
and if the suspect had not been interrupted, there is no doubt this building would have been burned, putting the lives of first responders and others at risk.
Oh, but you got to let them be, right? It's like Portland, Antifa burned down federal buildings. Nothing happened to any of them. All right, so President Trump issues a pardon to a young girl who skipped school to go to a meeting. Watch this.
But I was wondering if you could do me one more favor. My beautiful daughter is here, Tallulah. She got detention to come and see you speak today. Could you pardon her, please? Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Clay. Tallulah. Where's Tallulah? Stand up, Tallulah. Tallulah, you are fully pardoned. Don't worry. Just tell the teacher I said it's fine.
But I was wondering if you could do me.
That's going to go over well with a liberal teacher. They'll probably give her twice the sentence. You thought the election was about affordability? Breaking news. President Trump says the U.S. will take nearly $1 trillion in tariff revenue next year. And that's great for us. That's great. Not only are we making money on tariffs, and I know they're going to say, but the people who buy stuff pay for the tariffs. Well, that may be true. But if they bought American stuff, that wouldn't be the issue, right? So if you start buying American stuff, then those companies that are in other countries, they're going to be like, well, shit, I got to start making stuff in America so people will buy from us, right? And most of that stuff, it's a luxury. If you're buying, you're buying a luxury item. All my time, I don't know why people are so disgusting. I really don't. I really don't know why. Look at this. So the Netherlands, which is where my mom's from, hides massive trash containers underground so their streets stay spotless. That's a good idea. Whoa, that was loud. Look at this. That's a good idea. Right? That's actually a really good idea. You want out? What do you want out of, bud? Wait, are you a female or a male? What do you want out of? This is actually a good idea. They need this in San Francisco, LA. But then people will still throw trash on the ground anyways. Oh, you went off this bullshit ride. I can agree with that. I really can. You know, I do this news. I try and do it every night. And just, so what I have to do is every day, I'll all day, not all day long. What I'll do is, I'll wait 3 hours and then I go back 3 hours. So what I do is, I'll go to I have a group. So watch, I'll show you what I mean. So what I do is this. So when you go to people's names that you trust, I click alerts from them. So I only get alerts. Because if you go over here and let's say you just go to your home button and it's for you, so many of these things are people lying, showing old footage, AI videos that are fake, right? I don't trust them. So when I find people that I trust, I'll go to them and so you click on alerts here, right? He doesn't have alerts. Subscribe. But you go to them and they have alerts on there. So you got to follow them first, right? So hold on, let's go to this person. And once you follow them, right, then you can click on their alerts. And then that will only go to here. So only the people I follow go here. And because I try and do the news in order, so I'll wake up around like 7, 8 o'clock. So I'll go back 3 hours and I'll go down like this because when you're on this one, it goes from newest to oldest. So I'll go down 3 hours and then I start working my way back up. And then I'll write down. So look, here's what I do. I use my notes. So you see it says 3:30. So what I did is then I went and took a nap and then, well, actually I streamed something else. And so I go back and I go through this. But anyways, what I'm trying to say is this. I spend hours on X searching through news and I get so depressed sometimes seeing what's going on that you won't see me do my news for a while because I just get so depressed of looking at the depressing news, right? And just seeing the liberals just destroying our country, destroying the world, and all these idiot people. There are times when I'm like, you know what? I'm glad I'm almost 50 years old. I have 8 birth defects. I hope I'm going to die soon so I can just get out of this, right? So I get it. I totally get it. I do. Anyways, did Obama just steal President Trump's UFO announcement? Let's watch the video. Let's watch this video.
A lot of times. So we always have a great...
Oh, no. We already watched both of these videos. Okay, we can move on. I do, though. I get severely depressed about what our world has come to, all the people that are lying. And it's not just that. You see people on here, like I have unfollowed Cat Turd because all he does is put up stupid shit, right? I stopped following Gunther Eagleman because that motherfucker, all he does is yes, I agree, 100%. Yes, go America, yes, right? He never has a thought of his fucking own. He just shares other people's shit, but yet he's got thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, if not millions of followers. And he's just a fucking follower. I hate followers. That's why on here, it's called Eddie's Questions Everything because I question everything, right? And I'll show you the news, and whether you like it or not, I'm going to tell you my honest opinion on it. I don't believe everything President Trump says is right. I don't agree with President Trump 100% of the time, and neither should you. We're humans. We shouldn't agree 100% of what somebody says. And if you do, then you're just a fucking follower, and I don't think much of you. Right? I've said this a million times. If you're a fucking follower, then you're just get out of my way. I hate fucking followers. Everybody's become so lazy to do their own research. And here's a quick explanation. Like when I was married, my wife was a liberal. And we were both at Fresno State and I'm driving us home and she says, I can't believe you like that, Donald J. Trump. And I was like, why? Well, you like veterans, and did you see what he did to the veterans? And I'm like, what did he do? She's like, oh, he went off on a veteran, and he said he was a piece of shit. And I'm like, okay, show me. So she goes on Facebook, and she shows me this thing. Donald Trump disrespected a veteran. I was like, okay, do me a favor. Show me on a real news site. And so she's like, so she searched, and she shows me another one. I said, that's not a real news site. I said, you watch CNN. How about this? Show it to me on CNN. So she's looking through CNN and she's like, well, it's not there. I said, okay, how about MSNBC? And so she looks through there. Oh, it's not there. I said, you know why? Because you're not fucking looking up and doing your research. I said, that's a fake post. Because people, when they post stuff on Facebook or anywhere, they get paid for how many people view their posts. I said, so they post shit that you just want to hear. because you wish it would be true. And they know that you're going to share it because it's not true, but it's something you really want to happen. I said, and it's fucking dumbass people like you that are fucking this world up because you're sharing fake fucking news that's not real just because it makes you feel better. And she finally realized, oh my God, I really do this. But she still kept doing it. That's why I divorced her. Well, one of the reasons. Goopy says, Eddie, my Uber driver today was named Grace and we listened to Preaching 105.7. Oh, that's cool. Oh, I agree, Gra. There's definitely aliens somewhere out there. All right, Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt announces President Trump is exploring using an executive order for voter ID. Oh, that's 20 minutes long. I'm not going to watch a 20-minute long video. Sorry, Alex. I can't even watch my own video for 20 minutes. I don't know how you guys do it. All right, here's where she announces President Trump is exploring. Oh, wait, that's the same fucking thing. Okay, hold on. But I do love me some Caroline Leavitt. I do love me some Caroline Leavitt. All right, mine's not an auto pen. A Georgia man asked President Trump to cross out President Biden's signature. Watch this. This is pretty funny.
Wow, that's pretty good.
But I don't want his name on there. So can you help me out?
I love it. He doesn't want Biden's name on his Lifetime Achievement Award.
Wow, he's getting President Trump's signature.
Mine's not an auto pen. This is. That's an auto pen. See that? You know that's an auto pen. See, that's an auto pen. You want me to cross it off?
Yes.
I love it.
That's an auto pen signature.
That's it.
You think he signed it? He didn't sign that.
Presidential Lifetime
I love it.
Achievement Award.
I love it. I love President Trump.
But I don't want his name.
Not all the time. He does some stuff I don't like, but I do. I do. He's a great president. One of the greatest presidents we've ever had. So Azerbaijan's President Aliyev visited Washington, D.C. for the Board of Peace Gaza meeting. His security detail was outside brawling with protesters. Armenian advocacy groups are calling it authoritarian, I can't speak tonight, behavior brought onto U.S. soil and are already comparing it to the 27 incident involving blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, well, you know, in Azerbaijan, they don't deal with, they deal with protesters differently than we do. I love it. Oh, yeah, they're kicking the protesters' ass. That'll teach them not to fucking protest. Look at that. We can't do that here in the United States, though. You seen God Rides a Harley? We call him Gra. That's our buddy. That's you know, Gra's one of my best friends. I love you, Gra. I love you, Goofy, because she's one of my best friends too. Kick their ass. Kick their ass. I love it. I love it. I wish we could do that in the United States, but we can't. We got to put up with their whiny bullshit. We got to put up with their whiny asses. So new performers reenact the shootings of Renee Good and Alex Peretti. The Trump. You can't make this shit up, folks. Look, they're all liberal white ladies except for one Chinese dude. Oh, there's a black dude too. Well, there's two black dudes. Hey, wait a minute. You're forgetting the part where you're trying to run over the ICE agent. What a bunch of fucking idiots. Right, Gra? I agree, Gra. I agree, my friend. You might be Goofy. Oh yeah, you notice how he's showing how he's fighting. These guys are fucking gay. Oh my god, shut the fuck up with this shit. What do they call that? Interpretive dancing or some shit like that? Fucking faggots. Oops, did I say that? Oh, we already watched that video. We already watched that video. Hey, Gra, are you getting any bad air from the fires over there? All right, so wow, in a huge win, Michigan factory has been saved from shutting down and removing its entire workforce thanks to President Trump's tariffs on Canada. Good. Let's go pause. Let's make it bigger. That's what she said.
Got to share something really awesome with you guys that I just heard right now from a customer of mine who's also a part-time employee here too. She works for a toy factory, a little toy company in the next couple cities over. I'm not gonna say what it is, but it's here in Michigan. And the toy plant was closing down. And this next month was everybody's last month of work. And I was gonna have to give this other girl here some extra hours just to help her get some more money because, you know, they were shutting that plant down.
Good for you.
Until Trump's tariffs
forced
a Canadian company to buy and build a factory here. So instead, they just bought this one out that was closing down and kept all the employees to avoid paying the tariffs.
Nice.
Thank you, Donald Trump. This is what I voted for. Gotta share something really awesome.
Right? And everybody's bitching trying to say, well, tariffs are costing people money. No. You know what? Tariffs are costing people money if they want to buy that shit. Everybody has a right to buy what they want to buy, right? You can buy potatoes from California or from the United States. You can buy potatoes from overseas. You can buy a TV from the United States. Well, probably not a TV. But so what's going to happen? Right? Let's say, so if you're looking at a Ford or a GMC over a Toyota Tundra, right? Well, you got to pay tariffs on the Tundra, right? So it's going to be more expensive. So then what are you going to do? You're going to want to buy the Ford or the GMC that's made in America, even though I understand some vehicles from Toyota are built here. So what's happening now? All these countries are putting factories in the United States, which means they're employing United States citizens. Well, hopefully. And that's what tariffs do for us. If you can afford to buy something with a tariff, that's your choice. You have the extra money to pay for that. That's the way I look at it, right? Gra's hotness started the fire. Fires are 200 miles west, no problems here. Well, that's good, but so a couple years ago, let's see, it was actually 2019, maybe 2020, we had all these huge fires in California and LA, and LA is about 300 miles from me, but that my whole entire air was bad, so that's why I ask. That's the only reason why I ask. Okay, what's this guy saying?
And I will do everything in my power to make sure that we deprive this runaway agency and these lawless actions of funding.
Fuck you.
That we pass laws to put guardrails in place to protect Americans, to protect our immigrant community, to make sure that people are treated lawfully and with humanity and dignity.
Fuck you.
And I will do everything in my power to make sure that we deprive this runaway agency.
Can everybody say fuck you in chat?
Of funding, that we pass laws to put guardrails in place to protect Americans, to protect our immigrant community, to make sure that people are treated lawfully and with humanity and dignity. And I will do everything in my power to make sure that we deprive this runaway agency
Fuck you,
and these
dude.
lawless acts.
Suck my dick. What is this one? Okay, so I know you don't like The View, but listen to this. So Whoopi Goldberg was mentioned in the Epstein files. So let's see what they're saying about it.
We're on the list because we were at a party or a wedding or something that somebody might have been. That's what I found out anyway.
Yeah, no,
I was at Trump's
Exactly,
wedding to
girl.
Marla.
Right.
Maybe Epstein was there too. Who knows?
I don't know.
So that means that I'm not guilty, obviously. But
Not
these
obviously.
other ones, how are you going to decide who's really guilty and who's
Well,
not?
I
It's
think
very
it's-
tricky.
Now, why aren't
why
aren't they saying that about President Trump then?
I think it's very clear because when you
It's funny how these bitches will. Oh yeah, well President Trump was with Epstein. President Trump was with Epstein. It's in the file. He talked to President Trump. Now all of a sudden their names get mentioned with Epstein. Well, that doesn't mean that we were there, and
if you look, you know why my name is there.
Because you're a
someone
fucking
was
whore.
looking for a plane.
Nasty,
and
ugly,
that's what people
smelling
do.
bitch.
They go to all the people who have private planes and say,
Right.
"Do you
She's
have
an
one?"
And you didn't get on the plane.
I didn't get on the
No.
plane. I didn't know they were looking for a plane.
Yeah.
I had no idea that the
Liar.
plane that I was supposed to be on was no longer available. So
Liar.
I'm named in there like
You lie.
Whoopi Goldberg needs a
But
plane.
there are a lot of people
Yeah.
that are
Marilyn
named,
Monroe was on the list.
Yes.
There were plenty of people that were there are plenty of
Elvis
people
also.
named
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
the list that may have not done anything wrong.
Yeah.
But I think that there are a lot of people that are on their list that are guilty
Yes,
of
indeed.
wrongdoing.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I have no confidence, unfortunately. It gives me no pleasure to say
Well,
this. But I don't
let
have
me
any confidence
let me say
that
it
the
like
Justice
this.
Department's
I
gonna do
think
anything.
that
Why'd you
they
get
are going
reject?
to hold on, Joy.
Yeah.
I think they are
Right,
going
Goofy?
to. They're going to do it like how you eat around an apple till you get to the core.
Yes.
I think that's how they're going to do it. They're
This
going to
Justice
eat all the
Department, I
stuff
don't have
all
confidence.
around here,
I need
and
to-
then they're going to get.
Shut the fuck up. And like the other girl, the black girl right there, her husband has been charged with defrauding Medicare, right? Oh no, but she blames everybody else. It's not my husband's fault. Whoopi cleaned the toilets. All right, hey Croc, what the heck is an urban fee? What the fuck is this? Hold on, wait. So start your morning right, members. King, one night stay, taxes and fees. So New York City tax, $7.82. New York State tax, $11.82. Jacob Javits tax, $1.50. Occupancy tax, $2. Urban fee tax, $5.16. Urban fee, $35. What the fuck? Let's see what she's saying about this.
I was born and raised in New York, so I know how expensive. Okay, so we're going back to New York in
Hold on.
like 2 weeks, and I was looking at doing a city day. So I was booking a hotel for the night, and I'm just I've born and raised in New York, so I know how expensive it can be. I'm just dying at all of these extra taxes, urban fee, urban tax, what? I feel like they're just pulling things out of their butt at this point. It's so crazy to me.
It's the black tax.
Okay.
Urban. It's the black tax, right? It's the Mayate tax. Well, we're going to show you what it's like to live in a ghetto neighborhood, so we got to charge you taxes on that. Okay, so President Trump, and please, guys, he's the president. He earned the name. President Trump appears ready to attack Iran as strike force takes shape. The Ford Carrier Group is approaching the Strait of Gibraltar. An attack could come within days. New details said that some U.S. troops will be pulled from the Middle East bases if the final preparations begin. Some stay to defend installations. Others move to safety in Europe or the U.S. A European diplomat on the Geneva talks said the Iranians were planning to drown them in technicalities and delay substance. But President Trump doesn't have the patience. Regional officials who initially welcomed the buildup as a pressure tactic are now deeply concerned about an extended conflict. One consideration officials noted the Winter Olympics end Sunday. Ooh, that's a good point. That's a good point. But honestly, are we really afraid of Iran? I mean, can they do some damage to us? Yes. Are we going to win the war, or are they going to win the war? I have I have faith in the United States. We're going to win. We're going to win. Right? Okay, so get this. An Ohio sex worker, Rebecca Aborn, pleaded guilty to fatally drugging and killing 4 men and faced robbery charges tied to a 5th victim who she also tried to overdose. The judge slammed her with 4 consecutive life terms in what they're calling a brutal serial murder case. I gotta tell you, man, if you're paying a lot of money to sleep with this woman, yeah, that's pretty disgusting. And what was I gonna say about this? And so, if you don't know the difference between consecutive, when they say consecutive, right? Oh my gosh, my brain just froze. There's consecutive and there's, well, anyway, so consecutive life terms means once you finish one life, so let's say they sentence you to 5 10-year consecutive terms. So once you finish the first 10 years, then the second term starts. Then the third term fight. Consecutive, what is it? Oh, my brain's freezing right now. It's, I've been to court many times and I've, consecutive judgments. What's the other word? What is the other word? Consecutive sentences. Concurrent. That's right. So concurrent means that if you get sentenced to 5 10-year sentences and it's concurrent, you only have to serve 10 years because you serve each term is served at the same time. So that's what concurrent means. So concurrent means if I sentence you to 2 terms of 10 years, both start on the same date. But consecutive means first you got to do 10 years, then your second 10 years start after that. Gross says it's not Iran we got to watch. It's their friends, Russia, North Korea, and etc. You know, Gra, I never thought about that, Gra. I never thought about that. That's a good point. Thank you for mentioning that. I never really thought about that. You know, but we've, you know, I don't know. You know, he doesn't call him Rocket Man for nothing, right? Rocket Man. Right? That's a good one. It's so Donald Trump says this is about the alien stuff, right? Based on the tremendous interest shown, I will be directing the Secretary of War and other relevant departments and agencies to begin the process of identifying and releasing government files related to alien and extraterrestrial life, unidentified aerial phenomena, and unidentified flying objects, UFOs, and any and all information connected to these nightly complex but extremely interesting and important matters. God bless America. God bless America. I mean, we can't think that we're the only living beings on the whole entire planet. Right? That's having a huge ego. Oh yeah, we're the only ones good enough that God wanted to be alive on a planet. God, you know, so when I was a kid, I watched a TV show. I was probably on PBS or something. And so God has a father in this video. And so it's either a school project or God's father tells him to create a land. So you see him putting this in a baking oven and stuff. Maybe somebody's seen this video and can remember. You know, my brain sucks. But it was when I was like 7 or 8 years old. So that's about 40 years ago. And so they show God putting a baking pan into the oven and creating a world. And you know, oh, I didn't do a good job on this one, so he had to start another one. So possibly God created multiple planets like ours, but he separated us by such large distances that we can't meet each other yet. Or maybe they have. I honestly believe in aliens. I'm not going to lie. I do. Big booty Latinas. Ooh. In 2012, the body of a 17-year-old Latvian girl was found on the Queen Sandringham estate, the same property where Prince Andrew was just arrested today. Elisa Dimitreva vanished in August of 2011. Her partially clothed, the decomposed remains were discovered by a dog walker on New Year's Day in a wooded area of the 20,000-acre royal grounds. 2 men were questioned. Fibers from her clothing were found in the trunk of their car, which had been sent to the scrapyard. Neither was charged. Both of those men vanished before the inquest and were never traced. The case remains unsolved. No cause of death was ever determined. No one was ever held accountable. Now in 2026, with former Prince Andrew arrested at the same estate on the same day, sworn depositions describe him attending naked pool parties with adolescent girls at Epstein's home. This cold case deserves a second look. Yeah. It's just like when we found coke at the White House. Nobody knows where it came from. They had plenty, dude, and it was found in the grass, right? The White House, if you even step on the grass, they have pressure points that alert the Secret Service to let them know to go catch somebody who's trying to get on the property. And you're telling me nobody saw where the coke came from? But it just so happened that Hunter Biden was there that day, right? Man, oh, live. Copy link. Senator Bernie Sanders on billionaires. These people suffer from an addiction problem. You know, we all know people sadly. We all know people addicted to drugs, addicted to alcohol, addicted to tobacco, face many serious addiction problems. And yes, you know, everybody has some kind of addiction. Everybody in this world has an addiction. Some people just handle it better than others. Like me when it comes to drinking. If I can go months without drinking, but the minute I have that one single drink, I will drink until I'm so drunk I can't even move. So I don't have an issue with drinking. I have an issue stopping drinking. And that's why I do my best to stay away from drinking. Right? And every once in a while I lapse, you know. But that's one of my addictions. Gambling's another one of my addictions. Shopping is another one of my addictions. It's just some people can control their addictions better than others. Right? It says, but you know when the most significant addiction crisis in America is today? It's the greed of the billionaire class. Oh yeah, let's blame the rich. Always blame the rich. How many houses do you have, Bernie? Why don't you take one of your houses and sell it and give it to homeless people, especially homeless veterans? But you won't.
These people suffer from an addiction.
Whoa, what's up with their audio? He sounds like freaking Hitler, doesn't he?
Sadly, we all know people addicted to drugs, addicted to alcohol, addicted to tobacco, face many serious addiction problems. But do you know what the most significant addiction crisis in America is today? It is the greed of the billionaire class.
Yeah, you may not be a billionaire, but you're part of that. And yes, Gra says he believes in the multiverse since the James Webb Telescope. Yeah, didn't we do something about that recently? Let's go to YouTube real quick, because they're showing what they're saying with the multiverse is. Maybe I can find it. One that I watched recently. What they're saying by multiverse, right? Let me do something here. And I saw it with the James Webb Telescope too. Maybe we watch this one together, Gra. But they're saying that, you know, you hit a fork in the road and you could have said yes or no. So you go this way or that way, right? So that's when it splits off. You could have done, let's say a day, you could have driven at you know, I'm going to take off at 1 o'clock and nothing happens. But you take off at 1 o'clock and 30 seconds and all of a sudden you're in a car crash. And it just keeps expanding and expanding with every fork in the road. Right? Why is the here, this one. Maybe is it this one? Should we go off on a tangent? Should we go off on a tangent?
It's just bad science. That it's unfalsifiable and a dead end to inquiry and as bad a violation of Occam's razor as you could imagine. But
yeah, you were telling us that,
might
Gra.
also be real. Can something that exists be bad science?
I think this is the one I watched. I think this is the one I watched.
Our algorithm has shied away from sharing our episodes with the full Spacetime community again. So we're trying to determine whether likes or comments are...
Actually, hold on. You know, I only have a couple more news articles left. So let's do the last 4 news articles, and then we'll watch that video. CNN did a hit piece against Christians. Really? Let's watch this real quick.
Leave it to CNN to put out a full documentary project as a hit piece against
Angry Pop
Christianity,
passed away. Who's that?
basically blaming Christian nationalism and the evil associated with it on Charlie Kirk.
Well, for the past several months, I've been working on a special project examining the growing influence of Christian nationalism in America. If you're not familiar, Christian nationalism is an ideology rooted in the belief that our country was founded as a Christian nation and that our laws and institutions should reflect Christian values.
Wait a minute. Are they saying we weren't founded on Christian values? I believe we were. Wasn't that the whole point of leaving the UK? Because we wanted a certain Christian value and they wouldn't let us have it?
Nationalism is the belief that America was founded on Christianity and that our laws and beliefs should be founded on Christian values. Yes, America was founded to be a Christian country, and our laws and beliefs are already based in Christian values. What is going on?
In the lead up to my hour-long documentary this weekend, we're going to bring you a preview of what you'll see, starting off with the assassination of Charlie Kirk last year. Experts say it was a pivotal moment for the movement and an occasion where the tragedy of his loss unified Christian nationalists and the Trump administration as they
we're going to go for it, all my Tom.
September 21st, 2025.
America is a nation in grief, a nation in shock, and a nation in mourning. Charles James Kirk was heinously murdered.
Heinously is right.
That was such a hard day.
That young man. I forgive him. Charlie Kirk, a conservative activist and prominent Christian nationalist, was assassinated. It became a rallying call for those who believed in his message.
My charge to all of you, put Christ at the center of your life as he advocated for giving his.
Memorial service was one of the most potent examples.
Hurry
of
up
the
and catch up,
shift
Goofy.
In our culture that we're experiencing right now, where a large segment of American Christians are being activated by these ideas, radicalized by these ideas that say that they are the persecuted ones and that they need to stand up for Christians' rights.
Yes, there is a shift happening in our culture. If CNN feels the need to put a hit piece out on American Christians and the concept of Christianity itself, that tells me everything I need to know. I don't find it coincidental that the #1 app in the App Store today, right now, downloaded more than ChatGPT this week, is Hallow, a Catholic prayer app, leading millions of people in prayer.
Good. We are a Christian-based nation. No matter what you think. Uh-oh, Hope is texting. Okay, so let's see. Let me do this real quick. And then we're going to go on our tangent. Squirrel! Squirrel! Okay, several big names have stepped down amid the fallout from massive Epstein doc release. Key resignations so far. Thomas Pritzker, which was the Hyatt executive chairman, resigned from Hyatt Hotels, citing terrible judgment in maintaining ties with Epstein. Catherine Rumler, Goldman Sachs chief legal officer, resigned from Goldman Sachs after scrutiny over her Epstein communications and gifts. Sultan Ahmed bin Sulayem, DP World CEO, resigned from DP World after emails showed years of correspondence with Epstein. Brad Karp, Paul Weiss law firm chairman, resigned from Paul Weiss after emails revealed his Epstein ties. Larry Summers, the Harvard president and OpenAI board of directors, stepped down from OpenAI board and Harvard-related roles after Epstein connections resurfaced. Pete Mandelson, a British politician, lost position as UK ambassador to the US over the Epstein links. Morgan McSweeney, Downing Street chef of staff, resigned as UK Prime Minister's Keir Starmer's chief of staff over Mandelson-Epstein scandal. Tim Allen, and not the Allen we're thinking of, Downing Street Director of Comms, resigned as UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer's Communications Director amid the Mandelstein-Epstein follow-up. Miroslav Lachak, Slovak National Security Advisor, resigned from his role after Epstein files showed exchanges about young women. Sarah Ferguson, the former Duchess of York, faced consequences including stepping back from public roles and royal duties amid renewed Epstein scrutiny. Jack Lang, who was head of Arab World Institute in France, resigned from the institute after Epstein ties surfaced, leading to a financial investigation. Caroline Lang, head of independent production in France, resigned from France's independent production union after Epstein links as Jack Lang's daughter surfaced. David A. Ross, a School of Visual Arts chairman, resigned from his position at School of Visual Arts. Joanna Rubinstein, or Stein, chair of Sweden for UNHCR, resigned from Sweden for UNHCR after 2012 visit to Epstein's island surfaced. Most had ongoing contact with Epstein even after his 2008 conviction. Some are now under scrutiny or investigation. The list is growing fast. Who's next? What a bunch of what a sick group of people. Oh, Sneaky Pete showed up again. All right, what if Iran launched 1,000 cheap kamikaze drones at the USS Abraham Lincoln? So it says those low-flying Shaheds would swarm the carrier group, trying to overwhelm everything, but F-35s and escort ships would light them up fast. Then America would smash back way harder. Really bad idea. So let's see this little video they made on it.
What would happen if Iran...
Oops. Let's do it this way.
...launches 1,000 drone swarms towards USS Abraham Lincoln? Well, the U.S.-Iran nuclear negotiations are ongoing, and if no result is shown, war between the two could escalate quickly. The USS Abraham Lincoln, a $13 billion floating airbase, along with other ships, is also present in Arabian Sea. So what if Iran launched massive drone swarms toward this group? Well, Iran would probably launch low-cost Shahed 131.
And by the way, the reason why he's talking about this is because that's what Iran has threatened. Well, we're just going to send 1,000 drones at you at once.
Shahed 136, and other one-way kamikaze versions. These drones fly very low to avoid radar detection. Some carry explosives, others act as decoys. If they are in large numbers, they could easily overwhelm enemies' target. As soon as the U.S. detects these drones, the U.S. Armada would respond quickly. F-35 and other fighter jets on board would fly quickly to safeguard their billion-dollar aircraft carrier. But the U.S. carrier isn't alone. It sails with 3 to 4 ships for its defense. These ships would start intercepting these drones with their Aegis and CIWS. Even the most advanced defenses have limits. If multiple waves of drones keep coming, the carrier group could take hits, but they will not bear damages alone. The U.S. will launch a full-scale attack on Iran, which Iran may not be prepared for.
Right? We're America. You don't fuck with America. You never fuck with America. We're the baddest of the baddest. We don't fuck around. We will fuck you up. Anybody else agree? All right, what's this? Let's see what. Oh my gosh, Carolyn Levitt. I wish I was her husband.
Are you a young person struggling to afford your first home? Well, here are 4 things that President Trump is recently doing to bring down the cost of
Hey, real quick, does I'm only 49. Does that consider as a young person?
Housing and make it more affordable for you. Number 1, President Trump recently signed an executive order banning large institutional investors like Blackstone from purchasing single-family homes
BlackRock
in the United States. This means that there will be more housing supply for you and your family, not wealthy billion-dollar corporations on Wall Street. Number 2, President Trump recently made Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac purchase $200 billion worth of mortgage bonds to drive down mortgage rates. And the result? Mortgage affordability has now hit a 4-year high. Joe Biden hiked mortgage rates up. President Trump is going to bring them down. Remember his first term mortgage rates were 2.65%, a record low. Number 3, President Trump is deporting illegal aliens from our country who were taking up American housing supply. As a result, rent prices have fallen for the past 6 months, again reaching a 4-year low, and we expect these prices to continue to fall for you and your family. Number 4, President Trump is cutting red tape at a historic pace to speed up housing construction, increase supply, and therefore bring down costs. President Trump believes that America is strongest when we are a nation of home owners, not renters. And that is why he is doing everything in his power to unlock the American dream and make housing more affordable again. A lot of progress has been made, but the best is yet to come.
Hold on, now that you're talking about Bernie. So I actually went to a Bernie event for Ben
Are you a young-
Bergquam, and they kicked me out. So hold on, I'm trying to see if I can find it real quick. That was 2020. And it actually was in 2020. So date posted. Let's go to 2020. Let's see if I can find it on Facebook real quick. Because I went to the Bernie event. I even bought a Bernie Sanders pin. Well, I didn't pay for it. Nope, I'm not in there. So I went to a Bernie Sanders rally for Ben Bergquam here in Fresno. And I was first in line. You know, I took a whole bunch of college students with me. And so I would fit in. We were first in line. I'm in my mobility scooter. I put away all my cameras so I wouldn't be recognized too much. And they're about to open the gates, and then 5 security guys surround me, and they're like, "Hey, Eddie, we're here to tell you that Bernie said you cannot come in his event." And I was like, "Huh?" He's like, "Eddie, we know who you are, and Bernie said you can't come into his event." So I thought it was funny. I was actually Bernie Sanders knows who I am. I was like, wow, I was pretty proud of myself that Bernie Sanders knew who I was. All right, this is the last one. Then we're gonna go into a deep dive into. What were we talking about? The multiverse. So Secretary Noem, we have stopped enough lethal doses of drugs from coming into this country that would have killed 1.7 billion people. So if everybody in the United States took some fentanyl, there was enough to kill us all. That's what the department has done in conjunction with our law enforcement officers. So let's watch this real quick clip.
And Americans are going to have a choice coming up here if they want to choose the Democrats' mass migration and infiltration of criminals, but not just criminals. We have thousands of known and suspected terrorists that the Biden administration let into this country. Or they can continue to choose President Trump, who's making our country safe again, who's making it more affordable for families to get into homes and to buy their groceries and put gas in their car. He's giving them safety back in their communities, and that's what the Department of Homeland Security does every single day. What Democrats have done by defunding this department is put our safety at risk right here on our own soil. We every day protect people in their communities, but also our cybersecurity is all through the Department of Homeland Security. Our Coast Guard is out doing interdictions on the water. We have stopped enough lethal doses of drugs from coming into this country that would have killed 1.7 billion people. That's what the department has done in conjunction with our law enforcement officers
5 times,
in protecting
right,
in just the
5
last
times.
12 months. And the Democrats are saying, no, we want to play politics and we want to risk the lives of Americans.
All right, folks. So we're gonna go and we're gonna do a squirrel movement. We're gonna do a tangent here. Now, do me a favor, folks. If you're not subscribed to the channel, if you're not following the channel yet, it's free. If you could do it for me, I'd appreciate it. And if you don't want your name popping up on the screen that says you just followed my channel, this video is 20 minutes long. As soon as this video is done, we're gonna go. And if you follow me when I'm not live, then you don't have to worry about your name popping up on the screen. I'd appreciate it. It's free. It won't hurt you. So follow the channel. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subs or followers, and so far I'm only at 438. So help me get there, guys.
More
Help me get there.
influential. For this phase of the experiment, we want to see what happens if we can get 60,000 plus likes per episode. If you want to be...
This guy's trying to get 60,000 likes. I'm just trying to get 1,000 followers.
A data point in this experiment, just hit the like button, and of course, feel free to comment as per usual. Finally, we have our July merch available. This is a special one. Retired scientist Dr. Jim Slater is a fan of space-time and the creator of this incredible image of how the Earth and the Sun moved through the galaxy. And he gave us his blessing to put it on a t-shirt and sweatshirt, so you can show everyone in your local patch of space-time a scientifically accurate movement of the Sun and Earth. We also have 2 new black hole logo space-time caps, one with a white hole and one with an all-black hole. Speculate about the
A white hole and a black hole. Okay, I'm not going to comment on that.
spanning all possible parameters. One possible explanation that we've teased several times now is that there exists a preposterously large ensemble of universes spanning all possible parameters, both habitable and uninhabitable, with the latter being the extreme majority. We are, of course, in an inhabitable one by necessity. Some would say that this anthropic principle, this argument of an observer bias, actually predicts that a multiverse exists. Others say that the multiverse is just bad science. Before we decide one way or the other, let's review the types of multiverse and where they come from. And before we review multiverses, let's remind ourselves what we mean by universe. The original meaning of the word was just the totality of all existence, which makes the idea of a multiverse nonsensical. If
now
it exists,
I want to watch
it's in
the
universe.
multiverse Family
But
Guy
in
episodes.
modern usage, universe tends to mean this particular continuous space-time that traces back to a particular Big Bang. For that reason, we have more concrete terms. For example, the observable universe refers to everything we can see in that space-time given the amount of time light has had to reach us, whose outer boundary we call the particle horizon. But if you could teleport just beyond the particle horizon, presumably things would be pretty similar.
Hey, look, like I said many times, it's okay to be confrontational because I want people surrounding me that are not followers, right? I don't agree with 100% President Trump does, the things he does. I don't disagree with 100% of the stuff Gavin Newsom does, right? I use my own thoughts and brains to figure out which way I want to go. Don't be a follower.
More stars, more galaxies, etc., whose light just hasn't reached us yet. And we typically think of those regions beyond as being part of our universe. So maybe the universe is everything connected to the space-time that we live in. But there are conditions that might justify calling some distant but connected region a different universe. For example, if the laws of physics change over extremely long distances, there could be regions of a vast connected space-time that operate very differently to here. This is often called a quilt multiverse. A related multiverse comes from the eternal inflation hypothesis, where the main greater space-time is expanding vastly more quickly than our universe. Bubbles of more gently expanding space appear and become universes like our own. In this case, these bubbles may also have very different laws of physics to each other. Other ways to generate universes with different physics include birthing them inside black holes, as in Lee Smolden's cosmological natural selection, or various cyclic universe options in which the laws shift between cycles. There's also the multiverse of the many-world interpretation of quantum mechanics. Some of what I get to today is relevant to that, but I'm going to focus on the multiverses that allow varying laws of physics. There are concrete reasons that the laws of physics might change between universes. For example, changing the quantum vacuum state changes the physics. In our universe, the mass of the Higgs boson, and hence the masses of all other particles, depend on the slightly non-zero energy of the Higgs field ground state. But the ground state of a given field may be a local minimum, and other ground states are possible. Changing the Higgs ground state changes the Higgs mass, and our universe looks very different. For almost all random choices of a Higgs mass, the universe is uninhabitable. Another example where the laws of physics change depending on the configuration of the underlying fields is in string theory. There, the machinery generating all particles and forces is in the form of compactified extra dimensions, coiled into something called a Calabi-Yau manifold. The geometry and topology of this manifold and the corresponding string vibrational modes determine the properties of particles and the strengths of interactions. This leads to an enormous number of possible configurations for the ground or vacuum state, at least 10 to the power of 500 of them, in fact, each producing a universe with different physics. This is the string landscape, a colossal landscape of possible universes that may or may not actually exist out there. String theory can't tell us why our universe's Calabi-Yau manifold landed on the particular vacuum state that generates the particles and forces of the standard model. Nor can the standard model of particle physics by itself tell us why the underlying quantum fields have their particular vacuum states. It would be nice to find such a
welcome here,
mechanism,
right, Sneaky
but
Pete?
what if there just isn't one? What if all possible vacuum states can happen and we just happen to be in one of the versions capable of producing life? That's the anthropic principle. In its most reasonable form, it argues that we shouldn't be surprised to find ourselves in an unusual part of the uni/multiverse, because we ourselves are unusual. At some levels, it's not in the least controversial. For example, we find ourselves in a very rare environment in our universe, a habitable biosphere. Even though habitable biospheres occupy an infinitesimal fraction of the volume of the universe, we're not surprised to find ourselves in one. I mean, we have to have emerged somewhere that we can have emerged. Extended to the multiverse, if there is one, it should be equally unsurprising that we emerge in a universe that can produce habitable biospheres, which in turn require a very specific configuration of the laws of physics. And our universe's laws of physics do seem specific. Change the strength of dark energy or the mass of the Higgs boson or even the number of dimensions of spacetime, and our universe likely would not have produced life. Coupled with the anthropic principle, the multiverse gets us out of having to explain why these specific laws, and in a way also gives an explanation for why the physics of our universe seems finely tuned to allow life. It's a selection bias, just like the bias that leads us to observing the universe from an unusually warm, wet biosphere. Some would take this much further. Some say that this apparent fine-tuning of our universe's parameters in favor of habitability is actual evidence for the multiverse. So, now we have the multiverse and the anthropic principle very loosely defined, so let's decide if this is bad science. We're going to break this into two broad categories of criticism. One is that the multiverse is unparsimonious. It violates Occam's razor. And two is that the multiverse is scientifically useless in various ways. It's unfalsifiable and/or an explanatory dead end. Let's start with one. The principle of parsimony, more often called Occam's razor, can be stated in several ways, but let's start with one of the phrasings used by William of Ockham himself. Never posit pluralities without necessity. Well, a multiverse is about as plural as you can get, so maybe we've already annoyed Brother William. Occam's edict has been refined over the years. Another common phrasing is, entities must not be multiplied beyond necessity. Again, sounds damning, but we can at least start to pick this apart. What's an entity in this context? Isaac Newton
I have
offers
not
some
seen
guidance.
that, Stinky Pete.
We are to admit no more causes of natural things than such as are both true and sufficient to explain their appearances. Well, this is a critical refinement. We're
Thank you for
told to
following.
limit the plurality of causes in an explanation, which is very distinct from limiting, say, the plurality of predictions. Now, way before William of Ockham, we have some enlightening phrasing by Aristotle. We may assume the superiority, other things being equal, of the demonstration which derives from fewer postulates or hypotheses. A more modern and parsimonious version of that is, all else being equal, simpler explanations should be preferred over more complex ones. So, the thing we are advised against multiplying is not the outcome or predictions of a hypothesis, but rather the number of entities in the explanation. The causes, not the predictions, according to Newton. But what are these entities? Well, they are the number of postulates or assumptions, basically the number of new things required to make a hypothesis work. These could be principles like a law of physics or an initial condition of the universe, or they could be physical stuff like a new quantum field or a multiverse. In general, Occam's razor wants us to be reductionists, to minimize either the complexity of the underlying theoretical framework or to minimize the number of fundamental building blocks, to seek theoretical or ontological parsimony. In fact, these two things may ultimately be the same thing. Occam's razor basically warns against overfitting. If you want to find a mathematical description of some arbitrary curve, you can always do it if you have enough degrees of freedom in your function. For example, a Fourier series with an arbitrarily large number of terms can fit any continuous curve. But the resulting mathematical form has no explanatory power. It's not a general law of nature that can make predictions beyond its overfitted curve. We could equally describe the universe as a vast map of points indicating the location of all particles, but that's complex and useless compared to the relative parsimony of the Standard Model plus general relativity and some initial conditions. So, with that refinement of Occam's razor, where does the multiverse land? In cases where a theory predicts the existence of a multiverse, it seems that Occam's razor doesn't apply, especially if the theory was concocted to do a different job and the multiverse just popped out. In that case, the multiverse is not a prior assumption of the theory, it extends from it. So things like the string landscape, the eternal inflation multiverse, and honestly, even the splitting timelines of many worlds shouldn't be considered a problematic plurality when it comes to assessing these ideas. When we bring in anthropic arguments, the situation is muddier. We could say that the multiverse is predicted by anthropic arguments, in that fine-tuning plus selection bias demands many untuned universes. But we could also frame the multiverse as a cause or an assumption in our argument. We observe fine-tuning because there's a multiverse. In the latter case, we need to pick apart our principle of parsimony a bit more carefully. If we propose or assume or postulate a multiverse as an explanation, have we multiplied entities beyond necessity? Have we overfit? Some would say yes. I don't agree. It's tempting to want to assume the least extravagant universe possible, but the size or number of universes doesn't necessarily map to the number of new prior assumptions that we would use to weigh our hypothesis against Occam's razor. And the impulse to argue for the least extravagant universe has failed us in the past. The ancients rejected the idea that the Earth is moving around the sun because if that were so, then the distant stars should appear to change position relative to each other due to parallax. They didn't consider that
this is not the
it was
one I
even
thought it was.
reasonable for the stars to be so far away that parallax was too small to observe. Their bias towards smallness led them astray. In the Great Debate in 1920, Heber Curtis argued that the redshift of the spiral nebulae meant they had to be entire galaxies far beyond the Milky Way, while Harlow Shapley represented the status quo feeling that such distances would mean an uncomfortably large universe. But now we're completely comfortable with an observable universe 93 billion light years in diameter and a greater universe is hundreds of times bigger or
I've
even
gotten drunk
infinitely
on
large.
triple second
So
schnapps.
as our measured boundary of the universe expands, so does our acceptance of new, increasingly preposterous sizes. For this reason, it's no longer compelling to argue against the multiverse based only on a sense of excessive bigness. If that bigness encompasses regions where constants of nature shift or stretch to regions where inflation never stopped, that's not necessarily unparsimonious due to the sheer bigness alone.
We're going to have to find another
Occam's
one after
razor
this.
asks that we seek the fewest moving parts, but it doesn't say anything about the sizes of those parts. So, the parsimony of a given multiverse theory is really equivalent to the parsimony of the theory that predicts the multiverse, which has little to do with the multiverse that it predicts.
Buy a brand
If
new
internal
Corvette.
inflation or string theory or
Hold up.
cosmological
Sneaky Pete says, I told my wife we're going to buy a brand new Corvette Z06. I mean, if all the cars are going to float up and be totaled, might as well have some fun before it happens, yes. Also, by the way, you know what? My buddy, you know, is Gra, are you still here? Hold on. I don't know, is it Amar or Amar? No, it's AMMR. My buddy Amar, he's selling his Corvette. He's got an older one. Let me find it. He's asking a lot of money for it, so you guys can let me know if it's worth it. Oh, let's see, 2004. Nope, he's selling a newer one. I mean, an older one. It was a 1979 Dodge Daytona, or a 1979 Daytona Corvette or something like that. It kind of looks like Ross. Shit, he posts a lot of shit every day. Oh well, I'll find it and I'll show it to you guys later on.
Selection or whatever are not too far-fetched as solutions to fine-tuning
Thank you to the person that just followed me. I appreciate it.
Is the multiverse. Okay, on to the next point.
That's weird.
Is
It's not
the
saying
multiverse
follow.
bad science because it's unfalsifiable or an explanatory dead end? I'm going to only touch on this one because there are details that warrant spending a lot more time on this, which we don't have. So, the badness of multiverse science depends very much on your definition of science. If you adhere to a strict Popperian view that science is only that which can be falsified, disproved by doable experiments, then you could argue that the multiverse is not even science. But by the same logic, you could argue that hypothesizing that galaxies exist beyond the particle horizon is also bad science because we can't test those either. A more relaxed view would say that science applies logical reasoning coupled with a whole suite of tools to collectively find a consistent picture of what reality is. If something is potentially part of reality, then it's in principle approachable by scientific methods. So if the multiverse might exist, then it's very much in the realm of science. And in fact, it's not true that we can't test multiverse theories. There are a few proposals for direct tests for other universes that I won't get into here, although we've talked about a couple of them before. But there are also tests that involve predicting what we should see in this universe if its unusual properties really are a result of anthropic selection. For example, Steven Weinberg showed that anthropic arguments gave a pretty clear prediction for the value of dark energy under the assumption that our universe should have the most likely value for dark energy that could permit our existence. The broader topic of anthropic predictions is deep and fascinating, and I'll also save it for another time. The fact that various multiverse ideas are testable given sufficient creativity means they also are not scientific dead ends. It's not true to say that by allowing anything to be possible, we no longer have a path to explaining our universe because all universes exist. In fact, the foundational theory that allows a multiverse to exist will make pretty specific predictions about the distribution of properties of the universes in that multiverse, and that can place strong constraints on the likely properties of our universe under anthropic selection. So the multiverse doesn't have to be bad science, but it also can be. If the idea is proposed as a blanket answer to fine-tuning, without a concrete mechanism that can be used to make other testable predictions, then your proposition is indeed unparsimonious, unfalsifiable, and an explanatory dead end. Bad science. But that's not how serious proponents of various multiverse-generating theories do it. Treated with due care, we can indeed science the prospect of the plurality of space-time. Thank you to Displate for supporting PBS.
Okay, hold on. Let's see a better one. Multiverse James Webb. Because I know I saw one that had the James Webb in it. Was it maybe this one? Or is it this one? Let's see if it's this one maybe. Oh, I'm an alcoholic for sure.
So today, I'm just going to skip the general introduction about Webb and go directly into today's subject. But we also need to understand that the Webb telescope's findings are pushing the boundaries of our current astronomical theories, and as we speak, it's on the brink of revolutionizing.
So real quick, I was an Elks member, which is a drinking club. I am a clamper, E. clampus vitus. I'm a clamper, which is a drinking club. I was a Proud Boy, drinking club. And I worked construction, which is a drinking club.
Our understanding of nature and its workings. So scientists make us to understand that recent observations from Webb have uncovered something unexpected in the early universe, challenging scientists globally and suggesting that what the Webb telescope found may be a major problem for our standard model. In a discovery that has stunned the astronomical community, scientists have uncovered a mysterious structure buried deep within the early universe. To truly grasp how groundbreaking these images are, you would have to stand in a room filled with astrophysicists, cosmologists, and researchers who understand just how dramatically this finding reshapes our picture of the cosmos. According to the standard model of cosmology, the universe began about 13.8 billion years ago with the event we call the Big Bang, and it has been expanding ever since.
I just text my buddy.
For the sake of this discussion, let's work with that widely accepted timeline. If the universe has been expanding from the very beginning, then the massive structures within it must be moving away from one another. That includes the galaxies beyond our own Milky Way. They are all receding from us. To determine how far away these galaxies are, astronomers rely on something known as cosmological redshift. Simply put, the greater the redshift,
we'll play that next,
the farther the galaxy.
We'll play that next,
It's a cosmic distance marker written in light itself. But here's where things get fascinating. Light from distant galaxies takes an enormous amount of time to reach us. That means the farther away a galaxy is, the further back in time we are seeing it. Observing distant galaxies is like looking into a time machine. We're witnessing the universe as it was billions of years ago. There's just one problem. As light travels across expanding space, its wavelength stretches, shifting into the infrared part of the spectrum light, invisible to the human eye. The Hubble Space Telescope can only observe ultraviolet to near-infrared wavelengths, which limited its ability to detect the most distant galaxies. One rare exception was GNZ 11, observed as it appeared 13.4 billion years ago, just 400 million years after the Big Bang, with a redshift of 10.957. Discoveries like GNZ 11 led astronomers to believe that galaxies beyond redshift 11 were extremely rare. But as we are now beginning to realize, the universe may have had far more surprises waiting for us in its earliest chapters. Unlike Hubble, Webb was designed to see deep into the infrared, precisely the kind of light stretched from the earliest galaxies in the universe. Objects with redshifts of 11 and beyond glow almost entirely in infrared wavelengths. In other words, if we wanted to see the universe's first chapters, Webb was the key. So we launched it. We pointed it toward the dark canvas of the sky, and almost immediately, the universe began to look very different. From the depths of cosmic history, a new picture emerged. Instead of a sparse early universe with only a...
Okay, I gotta stop because I text my buddy and he just tagged me on Facebook. So this is his the Corvette. It's it's a 1978 Chevy Corvette LMT EDT Indy Pace car. 457 miles. That's why it's so expensive. They're asking $40K for it. That's a beautiful car. It's a beautiful car. Look at that. Wow. Got the T-top. Oh my goodness, girl. Look at that. 452 miles right there. Look at that. 452 miles. Wow. That's crazy. Yeah, my buddy Amar, he likes he likes these. What is this? Third gen or second gen? Camaros, right? Are those second or third gen? He owns Daddy Waffles here. He owns a waffle shop. But yeah, he's asking. Oh, that's in Michigan. Thanks, bud. It's a beautiful car, isn't it? Beautiful.
Handful of young galaxies, Webb revealed dozens of galaxies that may rank among the earliest ever seen. It was as if the early cosmos, once thought nearly empty, suddenly came alive. Using Webb's first observations, astronomers began hunting for galaxies at extremely high redshift signals that these structures formed far earlier than previously believed possible. As Webb scanned deeper, NASA detected galaxies that may have existed just 200 to 300 million years after the Big Bang. Then came another shock, a galaxy known as Glass Z13, with a redshift of 13.2, formed roughly 300 million years after the Big Bang, making it one of the oldest galaxies ever identified. The implications were profound. Finding so many galaxies so early suggests our models of galaxy formation may need serious revision. As one lead astronomer from the University of Missouri explained, this could be the first clear indication that galaxies formed much faster and earlier than we ever imagined. And the surprises didn't stop there. Another primordial galaxy appeared, dating to just 390 million years after the Big Bang. With each new observation,
Beautiful car, right,
Webb
Rob?
seemed to be rewriting cosmic history in real time. So what exactly did astronomers uncover in the latest Webb images? In recent weeks, a series of groundbreaking discoveries has shaken our understanding of how the first galaxies formed. People naturally ask two questions. First, what are we seeing in these breathtaking images? And second, what did we learn that we didn't know before? The answer is striking. The first galaxies appear to have grown differently than our theories predicted, and we don't yet understand why our models fell short. Adding even more intrigue, the MIRI European Consortium GTO team announced the discovery of an extremely red object that previous deep, near-infrared surveys had completely missed. They found it while searching for faint sources in Webb's new images. These faint sources matter because the farther away an object is, the more its light stretches and dims, making it appear redder and weaker in Webb's detectors. But this object was unusually red, far redder than expected. At first, astronomers considered whether it might be something closer to home, perhaps hidden behind thick dust clouds. But that explanation didn't hold. The object appeared extended rather than point-like, and it remained fixed in position for over a year, ruling out the possibility that it was a brown dwarf within our own galaxy. So what is it? Right now, no one knows for certain. In a recent research paper, scientists proposed 3 possible explanations. One early idea suggested it might be a dusty dwarf galaxy located about 40...
Real quick to stop, but you know, with that Corvette with only the 431 miles, maybe what they did is they bought 2. Like, you know, some collectors will buy two Star Wars toys, right? They have one to play with and one to put away to make money. Like Gavin, our good buddy Gavin, says he used to buy 2 pairs of Nikes, one to wear and one to stack away to sell later on. So maybe that's what they did. Who knows?
5 billion light years away.
Who knows?
But further analysis has made that scenario increasingly unlikely, which leaves us with something even more tantalizing, a mysterious object that may rank among the most distant ever detected, and one that could force us to rethink, yet again, how the universe evolved in its earliest moments. Astronomers considered another possibility. Perhaps the object was a distant, dust-shrouded galaxy that existed 1 to 2 billion years after the Big Bang. But once again, the evidence didn't quite fit. That explanation, too, seemed unlikely. Then came the third possibility, and this one truly captured the scientific community's attention. In their paper, researchers proposed that the mysterious object may belong to the same class as the recently discovered small red dot galaxies identified by the James Webb Space Telescope. These compact, intensely red galaxies have already puzzled astronomers because they appear far more massive and luminous than our models predicted for such an early universe. What makes this new object extraordinary is its estimated redshift, Z equals 15. That would place it just 100 million years after the Big Bang. If this interpretation proves correct, it would represent the most distant and oldest galaxy ever observed, a discovery that would fundamentally challenge our understanding of how the universe evolved. The existence of such a galaxy so soon after cosmic dawn raises a profound question. How did something so massive form so quickly? The discovery of these tiny but powerful red galaxies has already unsettled theorists. They appear too bright, too developed, and too massive for a universe that was still in its infancy. And now, finding an object even farther away intensifies the tension. It threatens to shake the foundations of the standard cosmological model itself. According to conventional theory, galaxies were not expected to form so early. They were thought to emerge gradually, seeded by massive halos of dark matter that would gravitationally pull matter together over time. Yet observations are telling a different story. Astronomers have identified a galaxy dating back roughly 13 billion years that appears far too mature for its age. Despite forming only about 800 million years after the Big Bang, it contains more stars than our own Milky Way. Under standard theory, such massive dark matter structures should not have had enough time to assemble, and yet there it is. This raises a radical possibility. Could some galaxies have formed without the expected role of dark matter? If so, that would directly challenge one of the central pillars of modern cosmology. Scientists are now grappling with this puzzle. How could such enormous galaxies emerge in a universe that had barely begun? Claudia Lagos, Associate Professor of Astronomy at the International Center for Radio Astronomy Research, explains that the presence of these extremely massive galaxies so early presents a serious challenge to our current model of cosmology. The dark matter scaffolding thought necessary to hold early galaxies together simply should not have existed in sufficient quantity at that time. To explain these anomalies, some researchers have begun looking even deeper beyond the Big Bang itself. At this point, such ideas remain speculative. Some proposals venture into philosophical territory, suggesting a cosmic designer. Others stay within physics, invoking concepts like the multiverse, an infinite collection of parallel universes, or cyclical cosmological models in which the universe undergoes endless phases of birth and rebirth. Nobel Prize-winning physicist Roger Penrose offers yet another intriguing perspective. His theory suggests that our universe may have been preceded by another cosmic era before the Big Bang.
Interesting.
Though controversial, Penrose's proposal opens a fascinating dialogue between physics and philosophy, challenging the traditional notion of cause and effect and inviting deeper reflection on the origin of everything. As the James Webb Space Telescope enters the later phase of its science mission, anticipation is building. Each new observation has the potential to reshape our understanding of why, how, and when the universe came into existence. That's all we have for you today. Hope you guys liked today's episode.
Okay,
Thanks for
now
watching.
we got Graz. This is the one Graz sent us.
Every time we look up at the night sky, we are looking back in time. The light from distant stars has traveled for thousands or even billions of years to reach us. But even then, we are only seeing part of the picture because there are two great barriers to our view. The first is swirling cosmic dust, which hides everything behind it. The second is the steady
Sorry guys, I love
expansion of
documentaries.
space itself, which
I love
stretches
going on
light beyond
tangents.
our visible spectrum and into the infrared. For centuries, these barriers have allowed the universe to keep its deepest secrets hidden. We've never seen the first galaxies or witnessed the earlier stages of stellar formation. But on Christmas Day 2021, all that changed. We finally launched the so-called Golden Eye that would allow us to lift these cosmic veils forever. The James Webb Space Telescope. A $10 billion, 3-agency collaboration, Webb is the most powerful observatory ever constructed.
$10 billion.
Equipped with ultra-sensitive infrared detectors, it's not only able to peer through the dust, it can see even the faintest and most distant objects. This telescope has revolutionized how we see our universe.
Oh, sorry. And just so you know, the pictures that you see, folks, that is not the color that they are. They show up as, how do I explain it? They have to add the color and stuff to the images because the images that they get are just data points, if that makes sense.
We've seen wonders close to home.
At least that's what I've been
Auroras on
told
Jupiter,
and read.
And the iconic pillars of creation, and those further afield. Gravitational shockwaves and galactic collisions, to name a few. But Webb wasn't just created to send back pretty pictures. As of 2025, it has already completed more than 860 scientific programs and collected nearly 550 terabytes of data. That's more data than Hubble accumulated in 35 years. These datasets are revealing a universe far stranger and more complex than we ever imagined. I'm Alex McColgan, and you're watching Astrum. Join me today as we take a look at some of James Webb's most spectacular new images and unravel cosmic mysteries from across the depths of time. Becoming fully operational in July 2022, the James Webb Space Telescope was designed for one primary mission: to use its sensitive infrared detectors to pierce the cosmic dust clouds that permeate the universe, allowing us to observe the very first stars and galaxies. And it's off to a good start. Already some of its early findings are pushing the boundaries of what we thought we knew, challenging current models of how the universe has evolved. But to look that far back, James Webb has to peer through a lot of space. And along the way, it's made some remarkable discoveries around more familiar objects, ones that are only visible at infrared wavelengths.
See, it's infrared, that's what it is.
Let's take a trip across the cosmos and back through time, starting in our solar system and traveling to astonishingly distant early galaxies, all through the incredible eyes of Webb.
Not for me, Goofy. I'm never gonna date ever again.
Cosmic backyard,
I give up.
Neptune. Whilst it's usually easily
colors of
recognizable
Neptune.
thanks to its blue hue, with Webb, it looks rather different. Doesn't it look ethereal? The methane in Neptune's atmosphere absorbs almost all of the infrared component of sunlight, meaning very little is reflected. There simply isn't much for the James Webb Space Telescope to pick up, making much of the planet appear dark. But this does have an upside. Instead, it allows the subtle, faint glow of Neptune's dusty rings and high-altitude clouds to stand out in dramatic detail. These are the clearest images we've ever taken. Not only beautiful, they've also revealed previously unseen ring arcs and shown us 14 of the ice giant's known moons. And this is just the
Sneaky
start.
Pete has a hemorrhoid.
Scientists are still poring over these images
I love
to
this
uncover
chat.
more of
I
Neptune's
love
secrets.
this chat.
I've already made a video on some of them.
You guys
if
are all
want to
my
find
good
out
friends.
more. But for now, the other secrets of the outer planets will have to wait.
I love
as
you
Webb
guys.
has been focusing its attention on one of the most compelling objects currently in our solar system, one that didn't start its life here.
Oh, have you seen stuff about
On the 6th of August,
I.O.?
2025,
That's what we should
Webb
watch next.
used its
I.O.
near-infrared spectrograph to join the fleet of telescopes and spacecraft observing the comet 3I Atlas. Its main focus was to analyze its
I.O. is the
composition.
moon
What
of...
Webb found has opened up a Pandora's
Oh my
box
gosh, I
of
just watched it the other
possibilities.
night.
The comet turned out to be unusually rich in carbon dioxide and water vapor. In fact, the ratio was amongst the highest ever observed in any comet. It is a messenger from another star system, having formed in a region of its original star's planetary disk where temperatures were cold enough for CO2 ice to naturally freeze out. By directly sampling the comet, James Webb has proven that the basic building blocks of planetary systems and life are shared across the galaxy. The common elements and chemical processes that created our solar system are likely universal. But this extraordinary telescope hasn't just proven useful in exploring worlds in our cosmic backyard, it's also part of the hunt for new
Andy
worlds
loves this
beyond
space
our
stuff
star.
too.
And yet again, it's making some astonishing finds. Speaking of extraordinary telescopes making astonishing finds, have you ever wanted to get a little hands-on with that process yourself?
Hold on, we have
Building
to
your
skip.
own James Webb Space Telescope will only set you back about 10 billion.
Let's skip the commercials.
Got it on its stand. It quick and doesn't stop when the sun comes up. You can even check out
There we
the
go.
Transiting Exoplanet Survey satellite and Hubble. We've already found more than 6,000 of them. But they've only been able to gather so much information. To find out more about these strange
Hey,
new
handsome
worlds,
boy.
they
Hi,
needed
babies.
another instrument, and that came in the form of James Webb.
Was dinner good?
It's found that our
Yeah.
closest star has been keeping secrets.
I love yous. On Papas.
Just over 4 light years away lies the Alpha Centauri system, a trio of stars that includes 2 sun-like stars, Alpha Centauri A and B, and the red dwarf, Proxima Centauri. For decades, astronomers have suspected that planets might orbit the 2 sun-like stars, but the immense overlapping glare of the binary pair made them impossible to detect. Webb has overcome this obstacle, using its mid-infrared instrument and an internal chronograph to block the intense starlight. Much like you might use a car's visor to block direct sunlight so you can see on the road, this device stops the bright starlight and allows the faint light from the planets around it to be seen. This is an incredibly challenging observation, requiring meticulous image processing to subtract the residual light from both Alpha Centauri A and its companion star B. The resulting faint point of light, detected by MIRI, is now the closest ever exoplanet candidate to be directly imaged. It has given us strong evidence of a potential
have to go and make
Saturn-mass
things
gas
so
giant orbiting
complicated?
Alpha Centauri A.
Oh, you want to come up?
And
handsome?
even more surprisingly, based on orbital simulations, this gas giant likely follows an elliptical path within the star's habitable zone. While the gas giant itself would not likely host life as we know it, its existence confirms that a planetary system has formed around our nearest stellar neighbor, providing the potential for smaller, habitable moons or other terrestrial worlds yet to be discovered. Now, if planets and moons form throughout the universe, which we very much think is the case, the next question is, how? And this is once again something the James Webb Space Telescope can help answer. So let's continue our journey.
Look at
by
that. That's
diving
just, I
into
love all the
immense,
colors.
chaotic processes
Just
of
love all those
creation.
colors.
The Cosmic Cliffs, part of the Carina Nebula, 7,600 light years away, and the iconic Pillars of
Whoa, look at
Creation
that.
and the Eagle Nebula, 6,500 light years away,
heck is
may be
that?
familiar sights to some of you,
Looks like
thanks
wolves.
to the stunning visible light
Ow,
images
look, doesn't
captured
it?
by the Hubble Space Telescope. But Webb has given us an entirely different view. Rather than competing, Webb acts as Hubble's companion, using the infrared part of the light spectrum to peer through the thick, obscuring dust that Hubble's visible light can't penetrate. In this image of the Pillars of Creation,
You wanna go outside
Webb's
again, Donnie? You wanna
near-camp
go
view
outside?
reveals thousands of previously unseen stars, including newborns that were completely hidden within the dark, dusty columns in Hubble's images. They appear as bright red orbs lying outside one of the dusty pillars. Estimated to be just a few 100,000 years old, the red glow comes from energetic hydrogen molecules created in plasma jets and shock waves emanating from the new star within. It's as if the top of the pillar is pulsing with activity. Similar processes have also been seen as the cosmic cliffs. Here, Webb's NIRCam has captured crisp details of the turbulent gaseous structure at the edge of the nebula. This sharper look reveals that they are actively being sculpted and eroded by intense radiation from massive young stars just above them, a process much harder to visualize in Hubble's previous data. This new ability to peer inside these cosmic nurseries fundamentally changes our understanding of how
Dude,
stars
it's still snowing
and
outside
planets
my
are
house.
born, finally allowing us to put theories based on simulations to the test. And what Webb is finding is that infant stars are not calm. Their births are explosive, energetic, and always spectacular. Deep in the outskirts of the Milky Way, in a region known as Sharpless 2284, approximately 15,000 light-years away, our golden eye found something extraordinary. A true behemoth of a protostar, weighing as much as 10 times the mass of our Sun. But not only that, this massive star is unleashing huge jets of gas and radiation. Known as a bipolar outflow, they are created as superheated gas falls inward toward the protostar's core and then is simultaneously blasted back into space. Powerful magnetic fields channel this material into narrow, high-velocity jets launched outward at hundreds of kilometers per second. Spanning 8 light-years, these spectacular birth announcement jets are nearly double the distance from our Sun to the Alpha Centauri system, and are immensely powerful, acting like a cosmic snowplow, pushing away the surrounding molecular cloud material and creating 2 much larger, opposing lobes of gas. This is a rare example of what's known as a hair-big Harrow object. Bright patches of gas and dust that form when these jets collide with surrounding material. Although over 300 hair-big Harrow objects have been observed so far, these jets are particularly rare due to their immense size and strength. The stable, symmetrical nature of the outflow suggests the star is forming via an ordered disk, which provides crucial evidence for the core accretion model of massive star birth. What makes this discovery even more exciting is the fact that it's located in a star cluster on the far edge of the galaxy, where metallicity is extremely low. This means it has far fewer heavier elements than our Sun, and by heavier elements we mean anything beyond hydrogen and helium. This pristine environment almost perfectly mirrors the conditions of the early universe. By gazing through its infrared lens, Webb is giving scientists crucial clues to something that has long been a mystery: how the very first massive stars may have formed. But stellar birth isn't the only part of the creation process we don't fully understand. Planetary formation is equally mysterious, and yet again, something that James Webb Space Telescope is illuminating for us. Once a young star settles, the chaos around it begins to organize. The remaining swirling dust and gas becomes a protoplanetary disk, the birthplace of planets. As giant planets emerge within these disks, they can form miniature disks of their own. One example comes from the CT-Char B system, located 625 light-years away. This massive young exoplanet is encircled by a circumplanetary disk, a dense ring of material considered a
I found the one I was looking
for.
for. Good.
It's how we believe Jupiter's moon system formed long ago. Using its MIRI instrument, Webb delivered the first direct measurements of the chemical and
look at the
physical
red and
properties
the
of this
oranges.
potential moon-forming disk. Researchers discovered that the disk is carbon-rich, containing complex organic molecules like acetylene and benzene. This finding represents
He sure
a
is,
major
Grok.
breakthrough,
God is amazing,
as this
isn't he, buddy?
carbon-rich chemistry is in stark contrast to the disk surrounding the host star, where scientists detected water but virtually no carbon. This chemical difference, seen in a system that has only been evolving for 2 million years, allows us to compare the ingredients for forming moons in a distant system to the formation of our own solar system over 4 billion years ago. The universe is busy making worlds, and Webb is giving us an unprecedented front row seat. Now, we've seen how individual stars are born and how planets begin to take shape, but these stories don't happen in isolation. They play out across the vast, breathtaking structures of entire galaxies. In 2024, Webb focused on 19
Dude, those
nearby
are
spiral
cool photos.
galaxies, delivering images that are simply astounding. Forget the science for a moment and just look at them. If that isn't art, I don't know what is. You are looking at the heart of cosmic creation. In a galaxy like NGC 628, also known as the Phantom Galaxy or M74, located approximately 32 million light-years away, Webb's view is special because it highlights specific
That's snow on your
galactic
nose.
ingredients. The blue light marks millions of older, established stars clustered in the galaxy cores. But it's the incredible red and orange that demands attention. This is glowing dust and gas, nursery material that threads through the spiral arms like fiery motorways. The bright red areas are stars that haven't fully formed yet, still encased within their dusty peaks. You can also see that the spiral arms are filled with giant spherical shells or bubbles, massive holes carved out by the shock waves from ancient exploded stars. Analyzing these consistent patterns across 19 galaxies helps scientists understand how they build, maintain, and distribute the material necessary for stars, planets, and with that, life. But even now, with all this information, we still don't have the full picture. We have one step further to go. Instead of looking at fully formed old galaxies,
That's a cool picture too,
we
right
need
there.
to know how and when they began. For that, we need to go back much further to the very first stars and galaxies. It's time to travel back to the cosmic
This is a good
dawn
documentary you
some
chose, Gra.
13.5 billion years ago. Even with the James Webb Space Telescope, with all of its spectacular technical advances, there are limits to what light can show us.
You're gonna like the next one,
earliest
Gra.
light in the universe was released when space first became transparent, just a few 100,000 years after the Big Bang. Beyond that point, the universe cannot be observed with light. But luckily, physics gives us ways to see further than we otherwise could. Gravitational lensing. We see this effect when a galaxy cluster like RxJ 2129, located 3.2 billion light-years away, is in the James Webb's view. This cluster is so heavy that its gravity warps space-time, acting like a cosmic magnifying glass that bends and focuses the light from galaxies behind it. In 2023, Webb captured a distant supernova explosion behind RxJ 2129. But the telescope didn't just see it once. Its light was split, creating multiple images of the same event. Because the light from each image took a slightly different, magnified route around the cluster, the supernova appears as echoes across time. Analyzing the time delay between each one, or how much longer
Thank
the
you
light
for
took
being
along
concerned, Gra.
each path, allows astronomers to precisely measure
nice and toasty
vast
in here.
cosmic distances. This data is critical for refining the expansion rate of the universe, also known as the Hubble constant. There's been some disagreement over this value in recent years. You can watch my video on it here. But who knows? Maybe James Webb can help solve it with measurements like these. And so, We have arrived at the very edge of the observable universe, close to the dawn of time. Here, Webb's NearCam and NearSpec instruments, as part of the JADE survey, have pushed observation to its limit. The challenge is that light from the earliest galaxies is severely affected by the cosmological redshift phenomenon. This occurs because the expansion of the universe stretches light waves as they travel across vast distances of space, shifting the light from the visible spectrum all the way to the infrared, exactly the kind of light Webb is designed to capture. It has uncovered galaxies that existed far earlier and are far brighter than we expected, and one in particular stood out. Webb's NearSpec instrument confirmed its redshift to be 14.32. This galaxy, now named JADE's GSZ140, is seen as it existed only 300 million years after the Big Bang, making it one of the earliest known galaxies in the universe, beaten only by MOMZ14, which James Webb also spotted in May 2025 and is 10 million years older. The prevailing lambda cold dark matter cosmological model predicts that galaxies at this epoch, often referred to as the cosmic dawn, should be small, dim, and only just beginning to form their first, simplest stars, which is almost the opposite of this new discovery. JADE's GSZ140 is too mature, too soon. To grow a galaxy this large only 300 million years after the Big Bang, the early universe must have been forming stars far faster and more efficiently than any current model allows. The very existence of this galaxy and several other similar sources forces astronomers to confront the possibility that the foundations of modern cosmology need a serious revision. One explanation for this contradiction revisits a bold idea first proposed in 2007 by cosmologists Catherine Fries, Paolo Gondolo, and Douglas Spoiler: the existence of dark stars. These hypothetical first stars are not powered by nuclear fusion like our Sun, but by the gravitational annihilation of dark matter particles within their cores. These potential first stars could grow enormous, millions of times the mass of the Sun, cool, and be long-lived, producing the infrared light Webb specializes in. So we could be looking at the signatures of dark stars. This fundamentally connects the most distant observations to the least understood component of our universe. So yes, the James Webb Space Telescope has literally shed light on our universe in a whole new way. It has revealed a cosmos richer and more complex than we ever dared to imagine. I am super excited to see what James Webb finds next, and with potentially more than 20 years of functionality still on the clock, there's surely a lot more to come. Which of those images did you like best? Let me know in the comments what you want James Webb to look at next. Thanks for watching. We mentioned this a lot, but that's...
All right, here we go. This is one I was talking about. I watched it actually back in December. And this one is the one about the multiverse.
Thank you to Displate for supporting PBS. The multiverse pops out of quite a few theories.
Oh, wait. Hold on. Wrong one. This is the one I watched on December 3rd.
Right now, the universe might be splitting into countless parallel universes, each one with a new version of you in it. You probably thought the multiverse was just something from the movies, but quantum mechanics tells us it really could be true. And this weird quirk of quantum mechanics has led some people to believe in quantum immortality, a way to live forever. By the end of this video, I guarantee that you will understand quantum mechanics better than anyone else you know, and it might keep you up at night. Our story begins in the early 1900s when physicists were first coming to understand quantum mechanics. Einstein, Planck, Schrödinger, all of these brilliant minds were coming together to develop the theory, and it worked remarkably well. By treating light both as a particle and a wave, so many problems in physics at the time started to be resolved. But there was one problem on everyone's mind. What quantum mechanics was implying was both supernatural and deeply puzzling. In classical physics, everything is exact. We can measure exactly where the Earth is, exactly how fast a rocket is flying, or exactly how much you weigh. Everything has a definite and measurable value. But in quantum mechanics, this just isn't true. Everything is instead measured with probabilities. Physicists use something called the wave function to figure out the probability of each outcome. Maybe the wave function says there is a 25% chance that I'm here, 25% chance I'm here, and a 50% chance that I'm over here. In the 1920s, Niels Bohr and Werner Heisenberg described a physical explanation for how this process worked. They claimed that the wave function collapses to one of these possible results when measured by an observer. This is known as the Copenhagen interpretation of quantum mechanics. And that feels weird, right? Why do we need to observe something for it to have a definite value? And Einstein agreed, famously saying that God does not play dice with the universe. This is actually where the famous Schrödinger's cat thought experiment came from. Schrödinger didn't like the collapse interpretation, and so he used his cat to show how weird it really was. The cat in the box ends up being both dead and alive at the same time, literally. But how can that be? So people rush to try and come up with different explanations. Maybe it's our human consciousness that is causing this wave function to collapse. But the equations just worked so well. Without quantum mechanics, we wouldn't have our computers, Wi-Fi, lights, GPS, phones. You get the point. But there is still this underlying weirdness we still don't understand. In the frustration of all of this, a young American physicist would go on to propose a radical solution that would shock the world. What if the wave function never collapses?
Sorry about that.
What if it's the multiverse? Imagine we have an electron that is about to move. It could either go left or right. The traditional interpretation of quantum mechanics, known as the Copenhagen interpretation, says these two possibilities are in a superposition, existing inside the wave function. This just means there is some percentage chance the electron goes left and some chance it goes right. These percentages can be worked out by analyzing the complex wave function of the system. This creates two possible future states of the universe, one where it goes left and one where it goes right.
This is what I was talking about right here.
When you observe this electron, watching to see which direction it goes, the wave function is forced to collapse. One of the two options is the measured outcome, and that's the state of the universe that survives.
Right, girl?
The other
If you don't
possible
see your
future
boobs, they
universe
might not
can
exist.
never exist. In this interpretation, our universe is just a long series of these decisions, each outcome allowing just one possible universe to exist. And here's where things get interesting. What if we take a different approach? This time, when our electron is faced with the two options, go left or go right, our universe splits into two very real universes. In one universe, the electron goes left, and in the other, it goes right. Physicists call this process branching. As soon as a quantum decision forces our universe to branch, the new universes can never interact and talk to each other. And as you can imagine, considering how many little particles there are in our universe, constantly moving around and being faced with these quantum decisions, this branching is happening all the time at an insanely high rate, practically infinite. So which universe are we in? Well, your consciousness can be thought to be just a passenger riding along one of these infinite paths. Alternate versions of you exist on their own unique path, each one never overlapping with yours.
So now there's a version of you that saw the electron spinning clockwise, and there's another version of you that saw it spinning counterclockwise. And that's just taking seriously the prediction of quantum mechanics. It's not adding any extra stuff, any extra worlds, anything like that.
That is the part where my brain broke.
This radical new approach is known as the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics, and it's what 27-year-old Hugh Everett proposed in 1957. If the wave function never actually collapses, all of these possible outcomes can be made real in their own unique universes. Multiple versions of the observer emerge, but they can never communicate with each other. Instead of just treating this one isolated quantum system under the wave function, in Everett's view, the entire universe could be described with one single universal wave function. When he took this revolutionary theory to Bohr in Copenhagen, he was unimpressed and said that it was too extravagant. The wider scientific community just kept using the Copenhagen interpretation. It's what I got taught at university 2 years ago. Everett left academia, never publishing in physics again, and in his later years, he may have even bet his life on his theory. Now, just before we dive into the real physics of quantum immortality, I need to thank the sponsor of this video, Odoo. As you should know by now, Odoo is an all-in-one management software that gives creators and entrepreneurs tools to dealing with submit your expense team, and everything gets right out today completely for free. Function never actually happens. Why does it appear to occur when we make quantum observations? All of our experiments point towards this collapse being real. So what's going on? Well, in the 1970s, there came a breakthrough. When you have a quantum system in isolation, meaning it's not interacting with the environment around it, the information contained within the wave function is easily and predictably given by simple wave patterns. These waves can be easily measured and solved to understand the quantum system. This is known as coherence. However, when you take that quantum system into the real world where it has to interact with the environment filled with things like atoms, photons of light, and temperature, it becomes unavoidably entangled. That simple relationship vanishes beneath the noise of the environment. This is known as decoherence, and it's the key that unlocks the many worlds interpretation. It explains why we never see this blur of contradictory outcomes in our observations. The alternatives quickly entangle with the environment, giving us just one definitive result. A Copenhagen believer would say this just looks like the wave function has collapsed, but many worlds tells us something more subtle happened. Decoherence locked each outcome into its own non-interacting world. The multiverse is formed.
This is crazy,
exactly
right?
what many worlds needed to become a real, viable theory for quantum mechanics. It allows this interpretation to keep all of these successes of Copenhagen and removes the weirdness that Einstein and Schrödinger disliked. There is no special role given to the observer anymore, and it shows. When you poll physicists today, the many worlds interpretation is endorsed by around 20% of the community. Still second to Copenhagen, but rising in popularity as time goes on.
This is a simultaneously existing reality where the outcome of a quantum mechanical experiment turned out differently to ours.
Things have definitely heated up now that quantum computers are emerging. Some people argue that they are literally indirect evidence of this quantum multiverse. While classical computers, like the one that you're using to watch this video and subscribe, use bits, zeros, and ones to perform their computations, quantum computers use the wave function probabilistic nature of quantum mechanics to perform calculations exponentially faster. Instead of one bit being either a 1 or a 0, each qubit is placed in a superposition of both 0 and 1 at the same time. This allows for multiple computations to be run at the same time in parallel. David Deutsch, one of the biggest proponents of many worlds, takes this a step further. If you take a quantum computer with 300 qubits and you perform computations with it, you are essentially running 2 to the power of 300 classical computations in parallel. Deutsch says that these classical computations are literally being performed in parallel universes or branches. That's why the computational power of quantum computers is just so much greater than that of our classical computers. Okay, if this is all actually true and the quantum multiverse is constantly branching, creating new versions of you and I, do we ever actually die? Quantum immortality. Take two branches representing a terrible accident like a car crash. In this one, you died, and in this one, you survived the crash. Believers in this quantum immortality would say that your consciousness navigates this branching, living on in the universe where you survive, while the other version of yourself dies. While to some...
So do you get this? What they're saying is that your soul, what's inside of you in your brain, even though you die in one one side, you're still living through the other side, so you never die, is what they're trying to say. You never die.
Physicists, this is just a fun thought experiment. Others take it more literally. Hugh Everett, the creator of the many worlds interpretation, is said to have firmly believed that his many worlds theory guaranteed him immortality, that his consciousness will follow whichever branch does not lead to death. He never wrote this down in his papers, but secondhand accounts from people who he worked with and from his family seem to suggest that this is what he actually did believe. This is, of course, really controversial and starts to reach beyond the limits of what many worlds is actually saying, but it's worth thinking about. Perhaps those near-death experiences we all remember are really just branches in the quantum multiverse, where we just so happened to survive in one of them.
All right, guys. That's it for tonight. I've been streaming since 1 o'clock, so I've been streaming over 10 hours
In 1935,
so I'm gonna get going. But thank you all for being here. Thank you everybody for watching here, and have a great night. Good night, Goofy. Good night, Grog. Good night, Sneaky. Good night, all my them. Big hugs, Goofy. Good. Let's see. Okay, hold on. I got it. You know what? Since you just added that person, Goofy, I have to give this person a I have to let them in so you can invite them to. There we go. There we go. You should be able to join Discord now, Dark Frog, and you can talk to Goofy. All right, guys. Everybody have a good night. Come back tomorrow. Oh, wait, tomorrow's Friday, right? On Patrol Live is on tomorrow night. So we'll start our show at 9 p.m. Pacific time. We'll have a later show. But I do have on my other channel, Chase and Cuffs, where you can watch all kinds of police videos, which I'm actually uploading as we speak. So good night, everybody. Have a great night. Hey, what's up? What's up, Wawhead Rex? Welcome to the show. We're just leaving. Hate to say it, but you can always rewind and watch it elsewhere. So thank you all for coming tonight. Have a great night. And you know what? Let me add you as a. You know what? Let me follow you real quick. Then you can follow me. All right, guys. So have a good night. We'll see you tomorrow. And don't do anything crazy. And God bless America.